have to cover that. Okay, should I hit AOC first?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, by the way, it's 11 a.m. Eastern, which means this show is live Monday through Friday, just to be clear. Monday, July 7th, you can see him at the Funny Boy Comic Club in Tampa, Florida, not _Firestein on X. Mr. Firestein, hope you're well.
I'm good. I got my clothes on today.
Nice for you. Well, I'll take it or leave it.
I didn't mind you, don't.
I mean, we'll leave it. Let's get to the clapping back. The kids don't talk about the clapping back. And by the way, the most important thing when you clap back is that you're covered in the whip.
Is that right?
Yeah, super chill.
Oh boy.
So AOC, here's the thing. She doesn't think.
Oh gosh.
AOC doesn't think before she uploads a video or live stream.
You don't need to think when you got the Riz.
Yes, exactly.
You're risen, dog.
There you go. That's ideal when you're clapping back. So she clapped back with the Riz, and she doesn't think about how it comes off. This was aimed at Donald Trump, Instagram Live, after he posted about her on his Truth Social. And I guess we'll just pause this, and then get to Trump's response.
He wanted to pick a fight with me.
All right, you look good.
Below me. And he's going to lose that. So
That's a little more.
maybe don't send our country into war when the vast majority of Americans, Republican, Democrat, and Independent, don't want us randomly bombing.
First off, define random. We're talking about Iran nuclear facilities with great specificity. Second, you're wrong. The significant majority of Americans and Republicans did believe that Iran shouldn't get evil. CNN supported actively destroying their nuclear facility. So I get it. When you just go out and say things that aren't the real things, it makes it a lot easier.
Every Democratic candidate since 2007 has said that. Obama said it.
Yeah.
Clinton said she would literally go to war with Iran. Biden said it. Obama said it. Obama said it during his presidency, before the nuclear deal.
Yeah,
it's pretty popular Democratic idea.
It is. It's almost like she has no idea what she's talking about. Let's go back to, and granted, she does, she looks nice.
Countries, because you're in some type of mood. They're not even briefing Congress.
I may drop.
Congress was supposed to have a classified briefing today.
Morning, Bill. If this drops out, I'll be right back. I'm in a dead spot.
It's giving scrambling. It's giving disorganized.
Giving scrambling?
They are having problems behind the scenes. And
you have problems in front of the scenes.
Are you supposed to be telling people about classified meetings?
Even briefing Congress on a bipartisan basis. Please understand that this is Trump's war. This is a Republican war.
It's no war.
We'll have it known it lasted one day.
Just in general.
Oh, pause. She thinks war is bad. Hey, I too think that war is bad in general. On that, we find common ground. Let's play this back to Trump's response.
You wanted to pick a fight with me?
No, you just restarted from the top. By the way, Toolman is sick today. He's in the emergency room, so prayers for him.
Hey, Toe!
Well,
I mean, I think war is bad, just in general.
We get it.
Don't let them, don't let them understand enough about
No, Nick. Applejack, come on. The first. Do you want to do the first admonish of the day? You want to do the first
what? Don't make him admonish. He has to find the admonish. Not that he can't find it, but it's another step.
Let's see. You're on the spot.
Yeah.
You look so sad. You gotta play along, Applejack. You can't look like someone kicked your puppy. Trump responded. President Trump responded with, "Shut up, AOC. Show us your tits."
Oh.
No,
You summed it up. There were a lot more words there, but
he said, "Stupid AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, if that is your real name. One of the dumbest people in Congress is now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact that the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done that twice before. How'd that work out? The reason for her ranting is just all of the victories that the USA has had under the Trump administration. All right, well, this is enough. It's just, you know what he wanted to say. Show us your boobs. Now, let's go to other psychopath, Crockett, who thinks that she's the one in charge. Just so you know, you didn't vote for Donald Trump. I'm sure that more of you in this country, nationally, voted for Crockett because she should have the mandate as far as whether we go to war or not.
And to understand enough about the Constitution to the extent that I'm the one that's supposed to make the decision or at least get voted.
That's right.
Somebody added the chirp.
Oh, I didn't know I had to consult my World Star advisors. Hold on a second, can I bomb a range? Someone call Spirit Airlines.
Check in with the WNBA.
Hello, Greyhound bus. Click. You okay? Let's remember that if she ever runs for president, and by the way, if that happens, idiocracy will come to life. Let's remember that. Oh, you're supposed to be the one. These people have a fundamental misunderstanding of. Well, first off, they don't know that we're a constitutional republic, but even democracy. I don't know if that's not how it works. You don't decide anything, and certainly not as it relates to a covert operation to take out nuclear facilities. I don't know that there's anyone who could be less covert than Crockett.
Yeah, if she ever does have a presidential run, I hope they play that clip a million times.
Yes.
Just a reminder, you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do nothing without asking some lady in Houston if you're allowed to do it.
And she would say, it's pronounced nothing. What just happened?
She's in Dallas. So
oh, she's Dallas? Oh, excuse me, the big D.
Come on, Gerald, tell me what happened.
Nicknames. So Trump is at NATO, obviously, and apparently somebody called Trump Daddy.
Okay.
Chief is a friend. He called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
Pause. First off, why is that bottle opener talking?
What? I mean,
Second.
Not me.
Hold on, wait, I want to see the response. Rewind it a few seconds. That was a schnoz joke. Let me see what he says.
Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
The NATO chief, I think is what she said, how she said it.
I love the question from the parrot from Rio.
That is an unfortunate no.
Oh, Tiago.
If we wanted, they did just send in the clip of him actually calling.
Yeah, sure, why not? Then we'll get to media practice.
They had a big fight, like two kids in school there. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. And it's just you stop them.
Hey, John.
Yeah, that's actually way creepier than I thought. The way that he says it's like, it's a little bit of a Christopher. Yes, you're my daddy. Spank me like a reward. Spanking is fun. Spank me, daddy. Spank me today.
Do you know how to find the buttocks? Are they hiding behind your pants? I don't think that was him calling him daddy.
No, I'm not
doing metaphors.
He was daddy, of course.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. It was really said, now put this strap on and get to work. You're like, wait, come on now.
No. That's a fun reporter, though. She was laughing. I think that's fun.
Yeah. It was a good time. All right, let's get to.
Hey, all the gambling and everything should be working now. I reactivated everything. Guys, check it out.
We have the most secure border we've ever had in our lifetime, potentially ever. Deportations are up. It's not high enough, but they are up. Inflation is under control. GDP growth is going really
Brendan!
well. Job metrics, employment metrics, soon to be
Flood alert extraordinaire. I love that.
Level the playing field quite a bit. Certainly haven't had the cataclysmic results that people said that they would.
Woo! Joe comes up here to work thinking it's going to be cooler.
Unilaterally agreed upon was the biggest nuclear potential threat of this century without killing anybody. Yesterday was a good day for
no.
celebrate the wins, and if we can't unify and find common ground on that.
I don't know why it's not
It's
working.
about
Oh well.
this is where I am at this point in my life.
The timer works.
What's best for America. When people talk about money, is it about what's best for America? Why isn't this a secure border? Deportations, better handling inflation, employment, and taking out nuclear capabilities, and at least a ceasefire.
Oh, there it goes.
By the way,
It's delayed.
you guys may not realize there's going to be rockets launched. You just pick the month. In any given month, they're going one direction between Israel and Iran. We have some hope now. How can anyone be upset about that? Well, CNN is pretty clear because it seems that they are actively rooting against the United States of America, which I certainly hope we don't see outright this time. Maybe my thoughts. All right, all references available.
93 right now here. It's not going to get too high today, but it's been a crazy last few days, man. I got attacked by one of my son's dogs. My dog got attacked by one of my son's dogs. My cat got killed by one of my son's dogs. I had to take my dog to the vet yesterday, $700 to get his ear reconstructed. Oh, yeah. So, I haven't been able to leave the house and do shit. Wife got in an accident Saturday. We haven't found out if her Jeep is destroyed yet or not, or totaled yet or not. But yeah, it's been a little crazy. Did a Rumble stream the other night, but that was it.
The leprechaun actually went to space. No one checked the shuttle.
Any mythical midgets on this on board?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm sure I'm going to break So a few key factors. They say, oh, I'm going to set back box. That's fine. Straight up. We'll get to a bunch of reasons this is verifiably untrue, but key fact number one, just last week, CNN told us that Iran's nuclear program, now said that it wasn't even really a thing, wasn't a threat, wasn't a thing.
Yeah, she's fine. She's just sore. She got lucky. The airbags didn't even deploy, but still maybe total.
Were they months away?
There was two people in the other car. Her Jeep versus a Prius. The Prius definitely lost, I'll tell you that. I got my arm pretty chewed up, trying to get my son's dog off of mine. I'll be all right. Just a couple holes in my arm, a couple gashes.
By the way, Zachary Cohen is live really high.
Hey, Greg.
Here's another key fact. The IAEA, it's always hard to say. It's scholars. Get a better acronym. The IAEA made it really clear that the damage to the site there in Iran is massive. Given the explosive payload utilizing the extreme vibration sensitive nature of centrifuges.
Yeah, that's I agree. That was my main concern.
And today, the White House released this statement from the Israel Atomic Energy Commission.
Pretty scary though, when she's calling me to come get her. I mean, she was sitting in the ambulance just because it was hot outside, and she was a little bit in shock. So they called me to the scene. I get to the scene, the ambulance leaves with her in it. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So I fucking chased the ambulance all the way to the hospital, and she's fucking arguing with them all the way there. She doesn't want to go, that I'm on my way. They didn't want to wait on scene anymore. Although it literally took me 10 minutes to get there. Wasn't too far from home.
And here's another fun fact. The person behind Natasha Bertrand, she's the same one who wrote that political article about Hunter laptop story being Russian disinformation, which Meta and X and YouTube and people used as the reason for banning that story during the critical election. So it's the same broad who knowingly lied about that. She is the source for actually Iran's fine.
That's fine.
Actually, they wanted you to their side because that's what they wanted. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. By the way, we included the Israel part because Israel, if they wanted to keep us involved, because Israel is kind of determining what the United States does, and Donald Trump bowed down to Netanyahu, as we heard from so many other people, they would say, "Oh, you missed. Maybe we should go hit it again." Right? They would want us to continually stay involved, and even they said, "Yeah, the job looks like it's kind of done."
What a good.
Yeah. We just do it.
Thanks. All right. Key fact number 3 here. This assessment, along with them being completely inconsistent, saying that Iran is not really a threat, and now saying actually still going to be a threat for much time, and the person who leaked this, of course, has been behind many fraudulent stories, most notably the Hunter Biden laptop.
She received the leak.
So she received the leak, and she was the source. Just to be clear, because we don't want to get sued. So along with all of those things, this assessment and this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, mostly just the weekend, but yeah, it's been pretty nuts. Saturday, then Sunday, then yesterday I spent half the day at the vet. Good thing my wife used to work there as a vet tech. They gave us a big discount and stuff.
Understand what those bombs and deliver those bombs. I got my dad's happened. Flawless mission flows right down where we needed to enter, and given the 30,000 pounds of explosives and capability of those munitions, it was devastating underneath for them. And the amount of munitions, 6 per location, any assessment that tells you something otherwise is speculating the other motives. You know that because when you actually look at the report, by the way, it was a top secret report. It was preliminary.
Looks at the cameras.
Based on results. So this is you make assessments based on what you know. And it said it could be very devastating. Moderate to severe, and we believe far more likely severe.
Is there a leak investigation?
Of course, we're doing a leak investigation with the FBI right now. This information is for internal purposes, battle damage assessments. And CNN and others are trying to spin it to make the president look bad, and this is overwhelming success.
Honestly, that's the first time I've seen someone answer so perfectly that President Trump himself acted as nothing more than a hype man. Flawless, right? And he's like, yeah, it was flawless. Oh, shit! Get a beat! Oh, damn! Damn! Flawless victory.
That's my guy Pete,
right? That's my boy.
Secrets, by the way. That's a real.
Yeah.
Are you talking about?
I know that's not a thing. I want full transparency as it relates to social programs like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security.
Sorry, which person again?
So President Trump, yes, he was not happy with the report. He wrote this on Twitter. Fake news CNN, together with the failing New York Times, they're failing, have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Both the Times and CNN are getting slammed by the public.
Is what's his name representing there, or is he going pro se to that? Do we know? The DUI guy.
And this is 3 other times that CNN has gotten it super wrong, just in recent memory. And the best way to stay in touch with us, if you're watching this on YouTube, is just download the Rumble app, follow us there. You get notifications when we're live. That's weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. But we also do some special streams, and every now and then you might want to be in the loop on something else, but you don't get spammed, and we don't have to serve the algorithm Moloch.
Or foreign caliphate.
That's true. No foreign caliphate.
Local caliphate.
It's not so much.
I guess he's got an interview with one of the jurors that he's about to. I don't know if he released it yet or not. I just saw him post about it on X.
So, there you go. Fake news. All right. Coming from CNN. Thank you. They are saying there is no ceasefire.
I just want to start with you, though. I know you have some new reporting. What are you learning right now?
Hi, Erin. What I'm learning is that this ceasefire has been mediated, and according to President Trump also achieved. There were talks between the U.S. and Israel and Qatar and Iran to tie the final knots and agree on the final conditions of this ceasefire.
Great.
All right, and obviously all very significant developments, Paula, of course, all happening as Barack is over several hours. We have not yet heard from the Israelis or the
This is from the
Iranians. Literally
19th.
what we're hearing actually is explosions in Tehran right now. A friend is reporting.
Iranians won't return your calls? So
We're hearing explosions.
yeah, we're going to follow up or do our due diligence. We're just going to say that it seems like President Trump has failed again. Here's the real
Okay.
President Trump had already posted publicly the ceasefire would take about 24 hours. It was a 24-hour wind down. It was a phased approach as far as this ceasefire to go into full effect. This is like she's here. Sometimes she's hearing good news if you're pro-America. Good news.
Well, he's done a pretty good job with Girl Boy, so.
Just get this.
Hey guys, just want to announce everybody gets a free additional personal day.
No, that's not cool. You're not authorized to do that. What the hell is it?
Enjoy your day off.
Please, everybody, it's the worst. Here's the next edition of fake news throughout this global mistake. Democrats were notified regarding Iran at all. Have seen this portion of her testimony because you saw one clip out of context, which included, if people were being honest with you, her being clear about just this topic.
In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
Video if you saw the other clip where she said, no, Iran currently doesn't have a nuke or currently is not building a nuke, someone cut that and shared it with you specifically to lie to you. You may disagree with Tulsi Gabbard's stance on the fact that Iran is a nuclear threat and they're enriching uranium, where it would only be appropriate for said measures to be taken if they're trying to build a nuclear weapon. You may disagree with her stance. You can't misrepresent it. So it makes sense as to why President Trump, Daddy, as that creepy, I think, German called him, would be pretty salty towards CNN because CNN sucks.
And you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives on the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news.
There you go.
Hey, come on. Jake Tapper, don't worry. I feel like a book is down the road. Like Trump was right. Iran did have a nuke. Like he's under breaking reporting.
No, Trump was right. Trump was right, and the IAEA was right. They were enriching uranium.
Right. No. I know.
It seems the problem is the timing. You had that Dead Eyes guy, as you mentioned earlier. You have, Tulsi's report. They're taking that out of context. It seems that they're going, well, they didn't have a nuke yet, so why are we doing this?
Right.
Well, we got to wait till they have a nuke. What do you mean? So you're saying in 2028, 2029, when you think you're going to have leadership, then you get to take out the nukes? You get to be the heroes?
Right.
Would your tune change then? Yeah, of course it will.
Right.
That's the only problem is that we took it out at a better time.
Right. Yeah.
I say we, these
No.
pilots and
You're absolutely right. And speaking of people who suck,
I thought you were going to go to CNN. They had Hakeem Jeffries on there complaining about not being told about the briefings being canceled.
you know what? AIPAC, you just saw it. Hakeem Jeffries. That's my problem with AIPAC is that they give just as much, most years more, to Democrat candidates. Of course, they should have to register under FISA, just like any foreign entity. Hey,
FARA.
What did I say? FISA? Oh, yeah, FISA. Yeah, FARA. Sorry, FARA. FISA is
Admonish him. Do it.
Admonish me.
Don't you dare
Admonish me. I deserve it. I deserve it.
You're better than Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, can we no, can we admonish Gerald for saying you're better than Tim?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Do
the admonish.
No offense to Nick, it's just because Tim's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, that's honestly unfair. That's honestly a cowardly tactic.
Yeah.
You obviously hate the Jews because you just admonished me when I was...
You obviously just curb-stomped your own reputation.
Wow.
All right. Speaking of people who get it wrong, noted socialist with these three houses, Bernie Sanders. Also, by the way, hold on a second. I don't understand. Yeah. He has three houses, and he always makes an excuse. He's like, well, it makes sense. I have one main house, I have a vacation house, and a summer camp. Well, what's the vacation house for? Isn't that the summer camp? Because it's a whole house.
Well, that's a winter vacation house.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna get away from Vermont or wherever he's from.
No, it's in Vermont.
Oh, well then, then I.
Snow. I want to wash my hair, my face, my hands with snow.
Well, socialism, someone has to be on top.
Exactly. Not what we got you. Now, so noted socialist with Justin Houses. He also was I believe this is before going on Joe Rogan's show, pretty pissed at President Trump for beating up on poor Rand. Here he is at a rally.
Give me the chance.
Me too, for a good thing.
Scared.
Disgusting.
Good news! There is no more war, bitches. I don't know if you are entirely familiar with the concept of a ceasefire, but let me break it down for you. It's where they cease fire, and that's all it is. That's what it is. It means there's no more.
They don't know what cease is. Cease means stop.
You had fire.
What's the Cree fire? What, I have to fall it? No.
It's there.
So, Bernie Sanders, it's almost like he's rooting against the United States of America at that point. And I get it. You could have disagreements on foreign policy, but when your initial reaction without information is, oh, can you believe that we did something to Iran? As though they're right and we're wrong. That means you hate the United States of America, but what do you expect from a man who literally honeymooned in the USSR? That doesn't even make sense. There's no Sandals resort there.
It was very romantic to wait in the red lights.
like for still reason.
They bonded.
Yes.
We're gonna have dinner for the butter.
That's right.
In the street.
That's right. Moscow was just like a city in the middle of a forest. There's nothing there. So, he was on Joe Rogan's show. And this is important because, you guys need to be able to celebrate the wins. Gen Z, this is the first time you've ever seen a generation that young be this conservative. Ever. People usually have to grow up quite a bit before they lean right. We have never seen this. At least not only, at least going back to the 1940s, from what I know, and I don't really trust the polling before that because they were like using an abacus and stuff.
Sure.
So that is a win that people may not fully appreciate. And to sort of add more context to this, remember, Bernie Sanders was on Joe Rogan, or at least it was uploaded yesterday. This is the same show he was on not too long ago, where in that scenario, Joe Rogan had endorsed Bernie Sanders in 2020.
Who would vote for in primary?
I think I'll probably vote for Bernie. He's been insanely consistent his entire life. He's basically been saying the same thing, been for the same thing his whole life. And that, in and of itself, is a very powerful structure.
Okay, so I disagreed then and I disagree now. You can be consistently shitty. Consistency is only valuable if you're consistently right, or you're consistently virtuous, or you're consistently proven over time to have been correct. Bernie Sanders has contributed nothing. You understand? Bernie Sanders hasn't seen the private sector really his entire adult life. And everyone's a hypocrite. I get it, but when people try and give Bernie Sanders this credit, like, well, actually, he believes what he says. You mean he believes that bread lines are a good thing and that a 90% tax rate is reasonable and that Russia and communist China had it right? Why would I give him any brownie points for believing in evil? Which brings us to an installment of Clean Truth. All right, and here's one of the claims that Bernie Sanders, don't call him an owl, made. Here's, yeah.
He looks like Wolverine and Deadpool at the same time.
Yes, he does. You'll see in the clip, his shoulders are so small that normal shirts become epaulets, become shoulder pads. Here's one of the claims that he made, and Joe Rogan, he really did try in this case to push back, but hindsight is always 20/20, and we have the ability right now to thoroughly fact check all of it. So the claim from Bernie Sanders, I was climbing. They're nocturnal.
Climb to the top of socialism.
That's right. Climb to the top of you. Hey, look, all you ladies can climb to the top of my totem pole.
Look how big my shoulders are.
That's right.
I'm a climber.
You can see the moment he realizes that this is not going to be a friendly interview with Joe Rogan. You can see where he's like, yeah, well, climate change. And he gets pushed. He's like, son of a bitch! I've been shot back! So, claim, I was waiting for it, yeah. Claim climate change is real, and the last 10 years are the warmest ever. Here's the thing, like, he could just say it, but he makes it worse.
You got to deal with this climate change issue. And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax. I think the last 10 years have been the warmest on record.
I think that.
It's a good paying jobs, transforming our energy system away from fossil fuels for energy efficiency, resulted to wind and other sustainable energy.
I think the climate change issue is very complicated. The Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period. That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. So look at the far end of that graph, and you see we're in a cooling period.
Well, I'm not sure.
No kidding.
The scientists who are out there, I think.
I know, but there's a lot of money involved in that too, Bernie. That's part of the problem. China's like, what percentage of...
They are the major polluter right now. They're number two. There used to be one. They're number one right now. Look, it's not an American issue. It is a global issue. And all I can tell you is that we are, in my opinion, going to see more extreme weather facilities in the coming years than we have. And we're seeing them right now.
Bold predictions. He moves away from the empirical to very broad. Cooler my taint! filthy son of a bitch!
Yeah.
He gets more and more angry. He's like, I don't know about it. Well, I do. Well, I don't!
I didn't read that article.
We're gonna have weather! Okay, great, thanks. Here's the truth, all right? Just on that specific claim, the Earth is much cooler than in the past. So this is the article that was published in the Washington Post. The average global temperature they claimed 485 million years ago. This is from the Waffle article. Was about 86 degrees. Last year was 58 degrees. And what's really interesting is that has been happening, a significant cooling trend, according to many scientists, and other scientists say, no, actually, it is cool, despite the fact that carbon emissions have consistently gone up globally. So on the left, this is very important. They try and say, well, actually, the ozone hole is closed, and they'll say, well, it's not just because of carbon, it's because of other CFCs, or they couldn't use hairspray. It all contributes. But they say, that's because of the measures we've taken. No, it's gone up. It's gone up consistently, and temperatures have gone down. Now, the United States has leveled off. China, India, their emissions have gone up. The communist bastion of the utopia, according to Berlin. Communist China is not that far off from USSR, where the honeymoon.
Yes, and by the way, he'd like to destroy our economy while not addressing the major drivers of this. The United States and every country in Europe and every country in Africa and South America and everywhere else could do everything right, get to zero, and it wouldn't make a damn bit of difference according to their models because of China, and mostly China, but some India as well. So maybe start there if they're willing to play ball. You know what China does?
Yeah. Southern America. You drive a car that's very gay. We pull and freeze.
What power? Electricity? Coal! You drive coal car! It's so stupid.
Temperatures are down to 58 degrees on average, which is the worst.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I truly hate their symbol, the invisible king. It just seems very good. So here's the next claim that he makes, and it's always interesting when he gets just checked a little bit, that there are too many big donors in politics. And hear what he's saying right here, where he's saying, you may be opposed to Bernie Sanders, and your money, you can spend money to tell people, to educate them, that I'm a socialist. And he says that, but it's a bad thing.
As a result of the Citizens United Supreme Court decision, it was 15, 16 years ago, what it says is, you're a billionaire, you have now the constitutional right, because your money is your freedom of expression. So you don't like Bernie Sanders, you can put millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into the campaign and express your view about how terrible Bernie Sanders is. And you can buy that much of it. That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us through where we are today, is that Elon Musk, Elon was on the show, he's here in Austin. How long? Yeah. And we talked about Elon, but he spent $270 million for electronic express. Okay? Yeah. I think that's absurd. Any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
Good job, Joe. They spent a lot of money on Harris.
Just that. Just off the course of a couple of months.
Let me talk about this. I'm not using this to say it's Republican, but that's my point.
Yeah, and then he kind of does. I love that was a good joke. How much did they spend on that? Was the biggest donation to Kamala? Shut! Here's the truth. Okay? And I don't think that Joe had the numbers, and of course, Bernie never has the numbers, but that doesn't stop him from wanting to instate totalitarian policy. Kamala raised $1 billion with 83 billionaires back in here. Donald Trump raised $392 million with 52 billionaires back. You should note that's raised versus Kamala actually spent $2 billion, which means she still has to pay some of it off. That's a lot of mayors to block. So let's, yeah.
Don't take it down immediately. It starts to bend.
That was a surprise to me.
She has a point. That is what happens.
Where did it go? You want to talk about? You want to try to move on. Tactfully move on from that. If it's stop the band, that's a side of a top.
I think it was paper straws.
Either way, we both sit out with a choking turtle. Now, we talk about if you notice, but AOC, Miss Lady of the People, over 3/4 of all of her funding came from out of state. People not even in her district. Hey, why don't we talk about that? Why isn't that a big deal? Why don't we talk about the local politics as opposed to on a national? I get it, Citizens United. A lot of you don't know necessarily that Citizens United was about a documentary that was anti-Hillary Clinton, right? That went to the Supreme Court, whether they had a right to release this, and whether businesses had the right to basically be seen as people, and they still maintain their First Amendment. It's more complicated than he makes it out to be. He just never shines a light on his own side. And I know people say, oh, it's in the primaries. No, he doesn't want it for self-gratification because he got screwed and the rug pulled out from him in the primary. I get it.
Yeah.
He's just not consistent. And then
he's never even said like what a number would be. Like, so basically, you're mad that people got to hear the message from the candidates because essentially that's what this money does: is it puts ads in front of people. You can say that the ads are complete lies and stuff like that. You can run against whatever's in the ads, but you're pissed off that people got to see more content from these candidates. Is what it really comes down to. You've never put a number out of what is acceptable.
Also, by the way, if you were to tally up the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in free advertising, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, let alone what happened with Meta, Twitter, YouTube, Google, manipulating search algorithms, it's not even close. The actual spending is not even close, but if you were to actually take that into account, free advertising, it's not even in the same galaxy. He then went on to try and sort of substantially, he pushed Trump's BBC as an example. Oh no, that was his college erotica. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, he talked about women. He says, here, let me read this. Have you looked at the Stag Man, Hero, Tough magazines on the shelf of your local bookstores? Do you know why the newspapers with articles with articles like, I can't read this, it's too small, with girls, 12 raped by 14 men, and so well, Senator, to what us, I can't read it. Can you read it, Joe? It's way too...
Sorry, appealing.
Yeah.
The article also says that a man's typical fantasy of a woman includes her tied up and abused.
Yeah, maybe that's a you thing. Bernie, not you.
Not yeah. Because that could be the voice. See, like, it looks like I'm saying it. They're going to put it on the freaking soundboard, and you just play it.
I love how Bernie actually is relatable. Bernie just doesn't understand he's the least relatable socialist ever. He's like, come on, folks, we all good houses. Don't you all have these Scandinavian farm fantasies? No. I'm just saying, like the weird sex stuff. That's just a you problem, Bernie. So sorry, BBC. I just wanted to remind you of his profane erotica from his younger years. He was talking about President Trump's big, beautiful bill, the big, beautiful.
Musk spends that money, and what's his reward? He becomes the most powerful person in the government for 3 or 4 months. Okay, fine. But what you have right now, and I just saw this the other day, you are a Republican member of Congress, okay? And you say, you know, there's a reconciliation bill, which we can talk about in a minute, that this is Trump's big bill that's going to
Well, I got it ordered. So.
And he very rarely actually does.
Oh.
He doesn't. It's just a way. It's a way to sort of present like he's going to be balanced. Present like he's going to be at least reflective. And he doesn't do it. He does go to talking. And for some people give him a pass for something he doesn't actually do. There's no balance and there's no objectivity coming from this man ever.
Sure. So let's say you're a Republican representing the low-income district. And you say, you know, I've got a lot of people on Medicaid in my district, and kids can't get to college, and I worry about food programs. I don't think it's a good idea to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut back on Medicaid. You make that announcement today. What happens then?
It's over.
You bet the swarm comes for you. You got it.
Right? Yeah, good. So that's the implication there. But hey, they were talking about who gets the tax cuts. We look at the 2017 Trump tax cuts, which will be solidified, will be with this bill. It largely affects families earning $30,000 to $80,000 a year. Seniors, there's no taxes on tips, overtime. And when he talks about who gets cut from Medicaid, we've gone through it. It is exclusively young, able-bodied, childless people who refuse to work. And you only have to work 80 hours a month. Meaning if you are young, able-bodied, you don't have children, and you refuse to work, you will no longer get a blank check. And you're just required to work 20 hours a week. Also, illegal alien. So the number of people who actually would qualify for what you think will Medicaid if you support the program at all. Remember valid people who've been kicked off or would be kicked off with this bill? Zero. None. Just 20, 30-something-year-olds who are single, childless, refuse to work, and illegal alien. Bernie Sanders is a dishonest person, and he deserves no credit for anything, including being able to sit upright. Here's the next claim that he makes. He says that President Trump, because Bernie Sanders, by the way, you have to understand this, I come from Canada, where you see this in the Canadian consideration. When he talks about corporate media, the alternative is government media, like Pravda, which he supports from the country where he honeymooned while it was still communist. You guys get this, right? In other words, when he says we shouldn't have Fox News and we shouldn't be able to go after the media, we need what they have in the place like in the honeymoon. He wants propaganda exclusively. So he said that Donald Trump, he's authoritarian because he goes after the media. And we'll give you the truth because it's glaring.
One of the things that was on arguments about Trump that worries me very, very much is this movement of authoritarianism and going after the media, suing the media,
as opposed to the free economy
authority that Congress has.
When you say suing media, are you talking about the CBS lawsuit?
Yes.
Don't you think there's a real issue with what they did?
Yes,
You
yes,
don't think there's a real issue in editing conversations to give someone an answer to define what they really answered?
Stop talking, please. Okay. Now, shall I see you if you ask me some stupid question that I don't like, right? Okay. You do something. Shall I sue you? He was sued.
Pause. He is a manipulative prick. That's a false equivalency, and he knows it. Joe's not asking him about, hey, should you be able to, I think you should be able to sue me if I ask a question you don't like. He's asking Bernie, don't you think there's something ethically wrong with what you claim to be objective journalism if they are, their own volition, editing down an interview specifically to favor one candidate while running hit pieces on the other? He's not saying, hey, should you have the right to sue me because I asked you a question? And Bernie knows what he's doing. You either have to believe this guy is retarded or he's disingenuous. I think one of the biggest lies in politics, and I even see people on the right giving credit, like at least he's genuine. Does that seem genuine?
No, that's not genuine because Joe laid it out for me. So they ended down to give her an answer that she didn't actually say.
Right. Let's hear the rest. Does you have anyone? No, I don't. Just say, please. Don't say anything. I'm not talking to us. You're telling the truth.
He is suing the Des Moines Register because of the poll that came out during the campaign that he didn't like.
Nope.
He's suing CBS for his Kamala Harris interview. So I think I'm not like an opinion that I'm real stories done about me that were not discussed.
What did they read your own erotica?
Did they quote you word for word, completely in context?
Yeah, yes, but it was completely bad. Well, here's the truth here, and I'm going to get to all of the examples, but here's the really important truth. In every single instance, I'm about to list for you, Bernie Sanders is defending propaganda. Whether it's the Des Moines Register, whether it's CBS, whether it's ABC. And in many of these cases, quotes from Bernie, here's the one through line. He is defending dishonest propaganda that invariably only favors one side. Let me lay it out. CBS, President Trump rightfully is suing CBS for deceitfully editing the Kamala Harris interview on 60 Minutes. So the FCC already released the transcript, which showed the video was edited down from 50 minutes to 20 minutes, including editing out nonsensical answers that didn't even relate to the question, or as Bernie Sanders refers to it, an answer. With ABC, Trump sued them and George Stephanopoulos for defamation because they wrongfully said that Trump was liable for rape of E. Jean Carroll. You still have people out there who believe that he was not found to be liable of rape. E. Jean Carroll, they had to pay Trump a $16 million settlement. So FCC admitted, at least at this point right now, yeah, propaganda. ABC, they had to pay $16 million because propaganda. It's already been defended by Bernie Sanders. Meta had to pay a $25 million settlement to Trump after they suspended him, right after January 6th. The Des Moines Register, that's another one. Ann Seltzer, who I believe is retired now because of the stench of propaganda that still clings to her, like the epaulets, sleeves to Bernie Sanders' shoulders. In his lawsuit, President Trump accused the outlet of brazen election interference. Here's why. The poll was really close to the election, and it was 16 points off. It was completely unprecedented, and it was being used by the media to say, oh my gosh, hey, Trump doesn't even have a chance. Trump doesn't have a chance. Kamala's up in Iowa by 3. How did it end up? Trump was up by 13. And there has been no justification. There's been no explanation whatsoever for the methodology outside of propaganda. So ABC, CBS, Meta, Des Moines Register, the one through line is Bernie Sanders is defending propaganda. And he's doing the same thing when he wants to silence voices of dissent when he talks about Citizens United. Even if you have a view of Pat's, and I agree with you, that we need to probably reform our elections a little bit as far as spending, I get it. But his problem is that someone was wanting to privately release an anti-Hillary Clinton documentary. He defends the big brother at every single turn and tries to keep the little guy under his thumb.
I remember when we did our election coverage last year, I know how much you guys spent on legal and how much you guys spent on or careful to not give out false information or give out false leads because of this reason.
Remember the election when we were the first place to call Georgia?
And you were like, I don't know if we should.
We called the whole election, and I was just like, I was with fear and trembling. I actually had to confirm. I'm like, wait, so he won the whole thing?
Yeah, because we were the first ones to do it. But
we had data people we paid more money.
It cost many, many millions of dollars.
Yes,
just to give you that idea.
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah,
it's a huge liability.
It absolutely is.
They should be held liable.
Yeah, 13 points off. Again, how'd you get there? No, I retired. You can't just do that.
Everybody covered it. CNN ran with it. They extrapolated it out across the United States with these polls were off. It's fine to be off because every single freaking poll is off.
Yeah.
Unless you want to look at Rasmussen and then, our buddy who was at Marshall over there. It's pretty freaking close. But these things, that was propaganda. What was it, like November 5th when that came out? So it wasn't exactly like, tons of months to figure out what's going on. It's like right before the election.
You say propaganda like it's a bad thing.
Yes, Goebbels.
You say propaganda. I say Sunday funnies.
Piece of shit. It's hard to get, not you, Bernie. It's hard to get accurate information these days. And of course, with another myth that Bernie has pushed out, but the Democrats are doing a lot to fix it. Those pesky news deserts. Remember food deserts? News deserts. And the left is really doing their little best to fix that.
News to the deserts. News to the desert. So saith X. Candace Owens has accused one Dr. Jordan Peterson of being paid by the Jews, a claim which he vociferously denies, in taking into account all the facets of all the variables and so on. News to the desert.
So basically, Bernie is a socialist with 3 houses who honeymooned in the USSR, and I wish that I loved anything as much as Bernie Sanders loves propaganda and protecting bloated, bureaucratic government. There's nothing that he loves more because it's the only thing he knows. Unlike Bernie Sanders, who has subsisted off of the government's teat for his entire life while contributing nothing, also being the least generous representative, I believe, in our halls, and the least generous tipper. So both charity and tipping, he is a socialist. Unlike him, we're actually funded by viewers like you. So we do take this silly comedy show quite seriously in serving you, and we do appreciate your support. If you want this to continue, hey, consider joining Mug Club, Rumble Premium. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble
I would just add, I had a very successful lunch meeting with the senators. I think that we are on track for hopefully for a vote this Friday for July 4th for the tax bill. The president is doing peace deals, tax deals, trade deals. So not done a peace deal. I think we have the tax bill done by July 4th, and then we can finish with the trade deals.
All right, so good update from Scott. Over hanging out with Congress. Yeah, some good questions about kind of shoes. Of course, somebody still has luggage on this guy. What could possibly be that one individual still have his latest clothes. I don't know, but that happened. And also, Zelensky was there. He put a suit on. Kevin said Zelensky was wearing a suit. Most France. Zelensky. He should show up in there. You don't see him in there, right? They're not a part of NATO. Did he try to squeeze in there? Yeah, I'm part of the family. No, you're not. Get out. But I think he was at the event anyway. So can I please come in your photo, please? Listen. That is got a nice place. So, keep your eyes open, okay? I'm the president. I'll give care. Pay attention. All right, so good stuff over there. Trump, of course, we got him talking at NATO, so we're going to come back to that. But let's talk about what's happening over here with CNN. The media was hyperventilating with glee and giddiness when they got this so-called report that came out, very conveniently leaked by the U.S. intel agencies that are totally corrupt and incompetent. The same agencies that said that Russians had all the hallmarks of Russian influence operations related to the Hunty laptop, which was all fake and made up. They shoved that through the CIA. Then they came through and they told us multiple times that COVID was from a wet market in Wuhan. Thinking they were idiots. And many in America were. Exclusive. Early U.S. intel assessment suggests the strikes didn't destroy the nuclear sites. And we made a big deal about it, and I felt pretty pedantic at the time doing it about a week ago. I'm like, wow. They said totally obliterated, and it was severely damaged. And now, it's like, it's fine, like the nuclear program's back on, so the whole invasionary force going. What we appreciated with Trump, and we were a little squirrely on that, we're all kind of riding the line on this thing, that he just ended it, totally obliterated, we're done, there's a ceasefire, you guys solve it, and stop effing around. And, of course, we get these stupid reports. Now, the report, I think, is probably fake, like most things that come from the United States intelligence agencies. But I swear, tell me what you think about this. These two are looking at each other when they're breaking this news, like they just got caught. Like their door was just locked or something, and someone's like knocking on the door, and they open the door, and they're both like screaming. Or like this is kind of the same body language and the tonality of the voice, like what? Like they don't even believe it all this. Or like this is the same type of garbage that we got from these anchors out of the Joe Biden cover-up. Right? Oh, you surprised? You should have seen us over the weekend at the debate party. Joe Biden debated everybody in the room and then threw back once before he went to bed at 2 in the morning. So, all right, here, of course, is how it sounded just a little bit.
Early U.S. intelligence assessment, the U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program and likely only set it back a few months.
That's right. So this is an assessment that actually is out from the Defense Intelligence Agency. That is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it was based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. CENTCOM after the strikes, according to local sources. Let's go to CNN national security correspondent Natasha Bertrand.
It looks like she's about to laugh, right? She's like, gosh, yeah, right. We barely missed them. Why? So we can go in again and do it again and never have this end. And then, of course, the other angle on this, well, it's destroyed.
right? So we have breaking news, right? When it came out, or a big report. And these people are all liars. A lot of them, Natasha Bertrand, national security correspondent, and a bunch of other lies. Pam Bondi gave us a detail on it. Let's listen to what the actual report says.
About the battle damage that resulted from those U.S. military strikes on these 3 Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. And as you said, it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central Command, essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged, the Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact.
Oh,
and
no!
has essentially only been set back by months. Now,
of course, that's so. No, somebody needs to be like to be Ron Bolton and the rest of them are like giddy as hell. Like, no, telling them we didn't. The damage wasn't good enough. We need to go in there and really do some damage. So you can just see, man, it's so obvious and it's really pathetic that they think that we're so dumb, although many people probably are. Here is what Joe Scarborough said. He warned the media. He said, "Hey, morons, this leak is probably as fake as all the rest of the other things." Even Joe Scarborough, morning host Joe Scarborough, warned media outlets to be wary of being played by people inside the intelligence community when pushing leaked reporting. A classified early assessment, fake, of course. According to a report based on briefings from 3 individuals with early analysis, the bunker busters just failed to destroy anything. Scarborough said, "Hey, we need to take a deep breath ourselves here." Says, "I agree with everybody here. We also have to be cautious about being played by the people inside the intelligence community, smart, who want to get their message out." Now, I'm not saying that's happening here, but I remember the last Trump term when they were running a story about Vladimir Putin. Well, they have a low degree of confidence in anything, right? They're liars. They're liars who manipulate foreign policy efforts by manipulating public opinion with their fake lies. And they steal elections doing the same thing too. What the CIA did. Literally, they paid these people as contractors, Michael Morell. They brought them into the CIA building and allowed them to use their facilities. And then before they published that stupid letter by those 51 morons, they also approved it through their publication board. So now those same entities leak this fake document out to CNN, and these 2 morons come out here like, "Oh, guess we gotta go to war." Now, Sean Parnell, he responded to this. He's over for the Pentagon official account to Hegseth. He says, "We dropped 14 30,000-pound bombs directly on their target, okay? That's 420,000 pounds of bombs for those of us who can't math. It doesn't take a genius to know that these nuclear facilities have been completely obliterated." All right, CNN, you're fake news and a bunch of losers. Here was more from Steve Witkoff. He was out there on with Laura Ingraham last night. He was pretty irritated about it too. He says that there's a ceasefire, we're done, stop with the agitation out there.
Iran, throughout, since this conflict began, we've been talking to them about having some sort of peaceful settlement. And Iran's one caveat has always been that Israel had to stop its campaign. And once Israel fulfilled its objective, which they did, and once the United States fulfilled its objective, which it did, the total destruction of the enrichment capacity of the Iranian state, then the president was able to go to both parties and get a ceasefire done. And by the way, the proof is in the pudding. No one's shooting at each other. It's over. Iran,
it's over. We're not getting back together. So move on, okay? Stop calling. Stop making a thing. You're not pregnant. Relax. We actually didn't get the nuclear bomb. Is the equivalent of I'm pregnant. No, you're not. Or at least it's not ours. Here, Caitlin Collins got into this too on Defense Intelligence Agency's preliminary report. He says, "I don't trust this at all," said Mark Rainbow, smart man, when he was talking to Caitlin Collins over there at CNN, who just wants some logo.
from the DIA itself, what it has put together. It says the core components of the nuclear program were not destroyed, and neither was the enriched uranium.
But Caitlin,
That's more than just the knowledge.
yeah, but Caitlin, this is a report from DIA. Now, for your listeners, let's break down what DIA is and what DNI is, which is what Tulsi Gabbard is. I think that's important. Tulsi Gabbard is the Director of National Intelligence. DIA is director or is the Defense Intelligence Agency. They don't have eyes in the ground; they have eyes in the sky. This is a report that was incomplete, that wasn't supposed to be released, and we don't even know where they were finding their findings because the ICs, the intelligence community that actually have eyes on the ground, eyes on the target, which is where we're getting our initial reports from. Those were the people that were in country. DIA does not have people in country that was providing this assessment. We know that this was a complete success. Now, that success means that our delivery system and what our target was on time and it was effectively did exactly what we wanted to do.
Totally not bad.
Well, first off, let me say, no one is doubting that the B-2 bombers carried out their mission and struck exactly the targets that they were told to hit. No one is doubting that. The question is the claim being made by the president that it obliterated this. You just said the DIA does not do this, but the DIA is part of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is what carried out these strikes, sir. And the director of the DIA is a 3-star military officer who is the principal advisor to the Secretary of Defense. Is he not?
That doesn't mean that they have eyes on it. Well, our eyes on it did not come from DIA. I was in
that
the
means you
intel.
just don't trust their report at all?
Absolutely, 100% do not trust this because the report wasn't a collective of the ICs, which the ICs, by the way, would go through, which is why I wanted to say this, DNI, which is it would go through the Director of National Intelligence. For the DIA to put out a report without the collective bargaining of all our ICs, as you said, there's 18 of them, and I can assure you, Caitlin, we don't have 18 agencies, intelligence agencies working on in Iran. That would be disastrous. We have a few, actually we have less than a few. We have really only one plus our allies that are working in there, and that did not include any of their assessment. So how could you have eyes on the ground?
Well, and we have made clear it's a preliminary report, but this is the only intelligence report that so far has.
Why would you run with it? Because you're assuming, but you're assuming this report is the report, and it is absolutely not even close report. Do you know how many intelligence agencies briefings I have set in,
Senator? And you said on armed services, and you just said you do not trust the Defense Intelligence Agency's report.
No, what I
said
is. No, what I said is I don't trust this report because I have said in briefings now for 12 years. I was on the Intel Committee in the House. Not one time did we have DIA ever come in and brief us. That was not where our briefings are coming from. In fact, go back and see all the intelligence briefings we've had that's been public and been in private that's been released. Have you ever seen DIA one time ever brief Congress? Ever. One time ever brief Congress? No, they have not.
Have you seen intelligence though that contradicts what the DIA is saying so far?
Well, I've seen reporting, not reporting from you, but I've seen reports come out. As far as a full briefing, we haven't, as you know, we've already said this. The briefing has been pushed to Thursday, but the initial reports we have 100% contradicts what DIA was saying here. And I'm not saying DIA isn't capable. DIA is capable. I'm saying this report is not an accurate report. I don't even know where this report came from. I don't know who authorized this report or where they gathered their intelligence, but there's no way. There's multiple people inside DIA, Caitlin. But how did this person that brought this report together, how did they get their information? Where did their information come from? Because it wasn't collective around the ICs, as I've said before, not to repeat myself, of gathering the information with individuals that was actually on ground, not the assumption. So I don't know where this report was generated from.
Was it John Brennan at CIA?
DIA.
Why? Yeah, so great job there from Mark Muller. Nice clip getting into it, mixing it up with Caitlin Collins, who I think is part of the same apparatus that is looking for a victory against Trump. They want to make him a liar. They want to make him say this was ineffective. And obviously the next logical extension of that is, wait a minute, we didn't obliterate their nuclear program, and we dropped 500 500,000 pounds of bombs on there, 500,000 pounds of bombs on there. And what else is there to do? If we drop 1 million pounds, is that going to obliterate it? Maybe not, because it's so very deep down there in the mountains. The only remaining option is boots on the ground, American troops going in there. So they're all just giddy for that. They'd love to have it. I think it's probably good for their, what's it called, ratings on cable. They have war every day, so very excited and giddy about it, but we're not. You also see Trump was over there at NATO. We got a little bit more of him coming up, but they also had this statement from the Israel destroyed critical infrastructure. Okay, so Israel Atomic Energy Commission. It rendered the enrichment facility. We elected the American element of Iran to set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons by many years, not destroy it though. This and it's not totally obliterated as long as they don't get access to nuclear material, and one way we can prevent that is probably a regime change. So that's something as well. And Trump was there in NATO, and he gave us a nice conversation from the podium, taking questions from the media. So he gave a speech.
Somewhat, but not much, violated the ceasefire. And Israel had the planes going out that morning, and there were a lot of them, 52 of them. That was amazing, actually. When we hit the various nuclear sites with the planes. Was hardly any damage. The things are decimated. So I think they're very much finished. I think Israel's going to get back to what they do, and I think that Iran's going to get back. You know, Iran has a huge advantage. They have great oil. See them getting back involved in. Now, if it does, we're always there. It won't be me, it'll be somebody else, but we're there. We'll have to do something about it. Yes, please, go ahead. Go ahead. No fake news saying that.
Is it Caitlin?
Oh, yeah, here we go. When do you hear this question?
You
really say
I think everyone appreciates our soldiers. I have two questions for you, Mr. President. You just cited Israeli intelligence on these attacks. Earlier, you said U.S. intelligence was inconclusive.
No, no, this is also Iran made the statement, and it's also, if you read the document that was, Pete can talk about if you'd like. The document said it. See the site. The site is obliterated. Everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out. Okay, question, please go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, blue dress.
Thank you, President. Yesterday you said China can.
Yeah.
Are you giving up on your maximum pressure campaign? Because
With
there's
who?
sanctions right now
With who?
on Iran.
Sell China the oil myself. I don't want to do that. They're going to need money to. Invite from other people, but you're going to have to put that country back into shape. It desperately needs money. Yeah.
Not taking over the nation.
Yeah, please.
No nation building.
Here we go. I'm picking the beauties today. Go ahead.
Mr. President, Secretary General Rutte has described President Putin as an adversary, a threat, an enemy. Do you view him the same way? And in addition to that, you mentioned General Kane, your chief of staff, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
General Kane.
Yes, he has said that Mr. Putin has territorial ambitions beyond Ukraine. Do you view that as
possible? I know one thing, he'd like to settle. He'd like to get out of this thing. It's a mess for him. He called the other day. He said, can I help you with Iran? I said, no, you can help me with Russia. Because, in the last few weeks, we took care of India and Pakistan, Kosovo, Serbia. I think on Friday we have coming in, the Congo is coming in, and Rwanda is coming in. That was a vicious war, the machete war. Heads chopped off all over Africa. They're coming in. We did two others in addition to that. Nobody's
should be back.
Like this. No, I consider him a person that's, I think, been misguided. I'm very surprised, actually. I thought we would have had that settled easy. I've settled 4 of them in the meantime. But he did call up and he said, he's close to Iran. He'd like to help us get a settlement. I said, no. You help me get a settlement with Russia. And I think we're going to be doing that too. Yeah, please. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You made clear your position on what impact the strikes had. I wanted to ask what is next with Iran. For instance, is there any indication from U.S. intelligence that Iran was able to move any material?
No, just the opposite. We think we hit them so hard and so fast they didn't get to move. And if you knew about that material, it's very hard and very dangerous to move. It's called. Many people they call it dust, but it's very, very heavy. It's very, very hard to move. And they were way down. They're 30 stories down. They're literally 30, 35 stories down underground.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, we think it's covered with granite, concrete, and steel.
Are you interested in restarting negotiations with Iran?
No.
So our people, Marco could answer, but our people are not. I'm not. The way I look at it, they fought. The war's done, and I could get a statement that they're not going to go nuclear. We're probably going to ask for that, but they're not going to be doing it. But they're not going to be doing it anyway. They've had it. Now maybe someday in the future we'll want that. But I've asked Marco, do you want to
stop and get some gas? We'll probably do a little bit of driving around, chasing some cops around.
I think we can get them to sign it.
My son's dogs are both gone. First one of them killed our Maine Coon, and then the other one attacked our oldest German Shepherd and bit the fuck out of me as I was pulling them off, so they're both gone.
That's been as willing as he has to meet with anyone and talk about peace. We'd love to have peaceful relations with any country.
My right arm is covered in dog bites
Not just to engage in peace, but to negotiate directly
and gashes from when I yanked it out of his mouth.
Fourth country process, but I know of no president, probably in our modern history, that's sought peace more than President Trump has.
No rush, is that right? So the door's open.
I'll tell you what, look, we're going to talk to them next week with Iran. We may sign an agreement. I don't know. To me, I don't think it's that necessary. They had a war, they fought, now they're going back to their world.
Wifey totaled her car on Saturday. She's okay. Her car's done. Her Jeep.
We want no nuclear, but we destroyed the nuclear. In other words, it's destroyed. I said, Iran will not have nuclear. It's blown up. To kingdom come, and so I don't feel very strong.
I don't know. They just flipped out on her. Her on the cat came home after the accident. I picked her up. She got taken to the hospital just to get checked out. She's fine. But when we got home, one of them had killed our Maine Coon. So, I mean, I wanted to obviously kill him too, but I had my son drive all the way down here from Jackson, Michigan to pick him up in the next morning. Saturday. We kept the other one because he's always been very calm and everything, but I don't know if with us taking the one away, he just flipped out on our older German Shepherd, and I came home while it was happening and went to pull him off and got a hold of my right arm. So, yeah. So then yesterday I spent half the day at the vet getting our German Shepherd's ear reconstructed. The big one, the big baby. And I watched it. I've got cameras in the house. I pulled it back, and the wife wanted to watch it, and I wouldn't let her. It was too brutal.
He's a very good golfer. He was on his college golf team. He went to a good college in the South, as you know. And he was a good shark at the time. I think my relationship's great. I want to buy icebreakers. You're very good at icebreakers. And I actually made him an offer. I didn't go to Congress. They'll try to impeach me for this. But there's an old, it's not old, it's fairly new, but it's used icebreaker. And I offered him about 1/3 of what he asked for. So we're negotiating. We need icebreakers in the U.S. If we can get some inexpensively, I'd like to do that. Actually, they'll fix it up, make it good. Also, we may buy some icebreakers. You're the king of icebreakers, that particular country. They make them good, they make them really good, and they know what they're doing. And so we're negotiating with them for about 15 different icebreakers, but one of them is available now. It's old, and it's...
the gamble and everything, all the Streamlabs stuff is working again on here. Tinkered with that. I spent all day in the house the last couple days.
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Sir, go ahead.
Yeah, question for NewsHour Dutch TV. First of all, on Article 5, on your way here, you spoke about the commitment of the U.S. to Article 5, saying, I'll give you my definition once we're here. What is your definition, and may the U.S. commitment to Article 5 change in case some of the NATO members do not reach the threshold that was discussed today? My second question is following up on a colleague on Iran. What intel reports do say that everything over there was obliterated?
Yeah, well, there are numerous of those reports that are coming out fast and furious, but the most respected ones we've already seen. And I will say that on a very confidential basis, they're looking at the reports, like numerous reports.
It's healing. I cleaned it up really good, but Yeah, you're always worried about a dog's mouth, so I don't like to take antibiotics unless I have to. So I'm just watching it real close, trying to keep it clean and dry.
As far as Article 5, look, when I came here,
Everybody says, "Oh, a dog's mouth's cleaner than a human's." No, it's not. Dogs eat shit.
I'm supposed to be doing, but I left here a little bit differently. I said, I watched the heads of these countries get up, and the love
I'll send you a couple pictures.
they showed for their countries.
I'm not going to show it on the stream.
Anything like it. They want to protect their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. You can ask Mark, or you can ask any of the people that were there. It was really moving to see. They love their country. They were so respectful of me because they had an immune system. And I made, you know, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia when I was in the Middle East. So I was in Qatar for a different reason, not a reason to get shot at. We were in there for economic development reasons. Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. All three leaders of those countries, and we took back $5.1 trillion into the United States. All three leaders said, you know, you're presiding over the hottest country in the world. The United States right now is the hottest country. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants a piece of it. You said a year ago.
Oh yeah, I will. Believe me, I know the signs of infection. It was sore as hell yesterday. Today's a whole lot better.
Inflation and everything. He said you made it in 5 months at that time.
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, me too. I mean, she's pretty devastated about the cat and the damage to the dog, but that cat was her baby too. And of course, the oldest German Shepherd is her baby, so that's pretty bad. But she's getting through it. She went to work yesterday. She went to work today.
Every one of them said, "Thank God for the United States. Without the United States, we couldn't."
Well, she's gone all 3 days actually.
We will in the future because now they're paying much more money. But
Yeah, we'll probably we got to make sure that her gap coverage is good. I think she has. I'm pretty sure she has gap coverage. We didn't get an extended warranty with her car, but I'm pretty sure we got gap coverage. So.
we'll do one or two more. Oh, I think Spain's terrible what they've done. No, I do. They're the only country that won't pay the full up. They want to stay at 2%. I think it's terrible. And, you know, they're doing very well. The economy is very well. And that economy could be blown right out of the water with something bad happening. You know, Spain is the only country that... Are you from Spain? Good, congratulations. You're the only country that is not paying. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's too bad. So we'll make it up. You know what we're going to do? We're negotiating with Spain on a trade deal. We're going to make them pay twice as much. And I'm actually serious about it. We're going to make Spain...
Cat drone.
I like Spain. I have so many people from Spain.
Yeah, we had them. We had our mother-in-law take them that night. Though she came by, and she took him to be cremated. So fucking $250 to cremate a cat, man. So she picked out a nice box. I think that's what cost the most. Who knows if it's even really the cat in there? We got a nice box for him. Yeah, I've seen the memes of that, the cartoons.
But you've now been in office for 5 months and 5 days. Why have you not been able to end the Ukraine war?
Because it's more difficult than people would have any idea. Vladimir Putin has been more difficult. Frankly, I had some problems with Zelensky. You may have read about him. And it's been more difficult than other wars. I mean, look, we just ended a war in 12 days that was simmering for 30 years, frankly. We ended Rwanda and the Congo. They're coming to sign the documents. We've already signed basic documents, but they're coming, I think, to the White House on Friday. We ended Serbia was going to go at it. But maybe the most important of all, India and Pakistan. And that wasn't whether or not they may someday have nukes like we're talking about in the Middle East, like we're talking about with Israel and Iran. It's because they have nuclear weapons.
series of phone calls on trade. I said, look, if you're going to go fighting each other, it was getting very bad. You know how bad that last attack was? It was really bad. If you're going to go fighting each other, we're not doing any trade deal. No, you have to do a trade deal. I said, we're not doing any trade deal. And in fact, I had the general, was very impressive. The general from Pakistan was in my office last week. Prime Minister
I guess he's got a hearing tomorrow. John Denicola said he's going to go to it for his arrest in Boston, or Canton, whatever it is. So.
Yeah, that's the dad. I'm going to pull the car over. I'm going to go home. Two of them stop fighting back there. Just go home. I'm not going to go home. So figuring it out back there. Happy to have that.
Go ahead, Jim. Here's another beauty, Jeff. He's a beauty, all right.
Mr. President, to follow up on Ukraine, will the United States contribute any more money to Ukraine's defense this year to the $5 billion that allies are giving? And one question, we've had another meeting with the Dutch opposition leader, Mr. Wilders. Can you tell us about that meeting? And are you upset about his anti-Muslim stance?
I'm not upset. It's his view. He's unhappy with the way things are going in this country and various countries. He was an opposition leader. And I was asked to meet with the opposition leader by the people that are running. I think they have some deal where if you have a meeting, you're supposed to meet with an opposition leader. I said, that's strange. We don't do that. But I met with I didn't know him. He seemed like a very nice guy, but he's in opposition to the current people, and that was set up by the current people. So I assume when I met with the Prime Minister, he's supposed to meet with the opposition. We'll have to try that sometime in our country. Let's not do it. But here's what happens. There's a lot of spirit. Look, Vladimir Putin really has to end that war. People are dying at levels that people haven't seen before for a long time. Go ahead. Go ahead. White shirt. Oh, she's all excited.
BBC News Ukrainian.
Where are you from?
So my question to you is whether or not the U.S. is ready to sell anti-air missile systems Patriot to Ukraine. We know that Russia has been pounding Ukraine really heavily right now.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there, and
I can see you're very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids. I'm in Warsaw actually because he wanted to meet.
Is your husband a soldier now?
He's
there now?
Yeah.
That's rough stuff, right? That's tough. And you're living here?
In Warsaw.
And you're a reporter?
I am.
Good. So let me just tell you, they do want to have the missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available. They're very hard to get. We need them too. We were supplying them to Israel. And they're very effective, 100% effective. Hard to believe how effective. And they do want that more than any other thing, as you probably know. That's a very good question. And I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's pretty upsetting to you. So say hello to your husband, okay? Thank you. Go ahead.
A couple more questions and it's wrapping up.
Thank you, Mr. President. You were criticizing.
Where are you from?
Bloomberg News.
Oh, Bloomberg. Wonderful.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve Chair before coming to this summit.
Yeah, I think he's terrible. Within 3 or 4 people who are going to pay. I mean, he goes out pretty soon, fortunately, because I think he's terrible. We have no inflation. We have a tremendous economy. Hundreds of billions of dollars of tariff money is pouring in. Factories are being built because they don't want to pay the tariffs, so they're building them all over the country. I think we're close to $15 trillion. I told you $5.1 trillion from the Middle East alone, but of investment money coming in. There's never been anything like that in the history of our country. But we have no inflation. And we have borrowing because Biden stupidly, they did short-term debt. So we have borrowing coming up. And, we'll go 10 years, maybe longer, maybe shorter. But we'll go a long period of time when we do the debt. And because of him, because of this guy, we will have to
I'll be right back. I got to get some gas.
we'll be paying for him. And I said to him,
I may have to go online too. to
There's no inflation.
fire
He
somebody.
says, but maybe there'll be some. That's true. I said, if there is some, what you do is raise the rate. I'm okay with that. You raise the rate in 2 years from now or a year from now. But because the rate's high, we have to pay more for debt. It's pretty equal. In other words, if it's 4%, it's 4%. If you drop it a point, you'll pay 3%. So it's fairly equal, not necessarily, but fairly equal. So we're going to end up paying maybe 2 points or 3 points more. 3 points would be about $900 billion a year because of this very average mentally person. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does, low IQ for what he does. Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Wait. So instead of paying $900 billion, we don't want to pay 900 just because he doesn't want to lower the rate. I said, if there's inflation in 2 years or 3 years or 1 year from now, you raise the rate. You take care of the inflation, among other things. But he's probably a very political guy, I guess. I don't know. I think he's a very stupid person, actually. All right, one more. Let's go. How about you? Go ahead. She looks so happy and everything.
Thank you.
So I
I'm
picked
from
her.
Spain too. I'm Anabo from La Vanguardia. I wanted to know if
You're where from?
Spain too. I wanted to know if you want to.
That's the Spain corner right there.
Yeah, it's not
Shouldn't
good.
have
You guys
said
better get your act
that.
together.
I do like Spain, by the way. I think it's unfair that they're not paying, but go ahead.
Are you going to negotiate directly with Spain about?
I'm going to negotiate directly with Spain. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
They're going to pay. They'll pay more money this way. You should tell them to go back and pay. You're a reporter. You tell them to go back. They
Write that
join
story,
all
lady.
of those countries that are paying 5%.
That's great.
Spain's going to be just about the only one that's not.
Go tell them.
They were the most hostile toward.
Go print
toward
that.
doing it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay. All right, Kelly, go ahead. Here we go. There's another one.
Thank you.
We got them all today.
Okay. So, Mr. President, you talked about expecting some on-the-ground assessments at Fordo and other sites.
Now
Is that
again.
Israeli and U.S.?
It's been obliterated, Kelly.
What is your message then, sir, to the intelligence community when they present reports? You're not disputing the DIA report. You're just...
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
I understand.
The report was done 2 days ago. Wait a minute.
Yes.
They didn't see it. All they can do is take a guess. Now, if you take a look at the pictures, if you take a look how it's all blackened, you know the fire and brimstone is all underground because it's granite and it's all underground. You don't show it. But even there, with all of that being said, the whole area for 75 yards around the hole where it hit is black with fire. The group that's run by this gentleman, in fact, you may want to talk about it for a second because we're going to issue a report. And I think it's not even a very exciting report at this point. It's been obliterated, totally obliterated. And they did a report, but it was like, if you look at the dates, it's just a few days after it happened.
Sir.
So they didn't see it. They said it may be very severe.
Understood. Do you have a message for the intelligence community, though, in terms of unvarnished information getting to you, that it's not...
I don't really have a message. I would say issue the report when you know what happened. I wouldn't say that it could be severe or maybe not. They use the word severe. It could be severe or maybe it's not. So people like you picked up and said, it's not severe. No, the report was not a complete report. Yeah, the message was probably wait till you know the answer before you...
Did you not have a public component to your Zelensky meeting for a tactical reason with President Trump?
All right.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president is saying, if you do, you will be better for it. Never let someone
calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons, to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that a preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that drop the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
The report said what it said, even though it was initial.
The report said what it said, and it was fine. It was severe, they think, but they had no idea. They shouldn't have issued a report until they did. But we've gotten the
And it shouldn't have leaked.
He said it better than you can say it. And you know, you should be proud, you, especially you, should be proud of those pilots, and you shouldn't be trying to demean them. Those pilots flew at great risk, big chance that they'd never come back home and see their husbands or their wives. Let me just tell you, you and NBC, fake news, which is one of the worst, and CNN, New York Times, are all bad. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. You know what? You should be praising those people instead of trying to find something. By getting me, by trying to go and get me, you're hurting those people. They were devastated. You know, I got a call from Missouri, great state, that I won 3 times by a lot. And I got a call that the pilots and the people on the plane were devastated because they were trying to minimize the attack. And they all said it was hit. But we don't think it was really maybe hit that day too. And they were devastated. They put their lives on the line, and then they have, and I'm not referring to you, but real scum who come out and write reports that are as negative as they could possibly be. It should be the opposite. You should make them heroes and heroines. You should make them.
They want them to fail.
Really, people were so devastated when they heard this news. And you know what they said? One of them, I spoke to one of them, said, "Sir, we hit the site. It was perfect. It was dead on." Because they don't understand fake news, because they have a normal life, except they have to fly very big, very fast planes. But it's a shame. You should be making them heroes. All right, in the back. Go ahead, back white. Yeah. White jacket. Yeah. Go ahead. Good morning. Hello.
Deborah Hayes from Sky News. Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you, and they're spending more, and you're
like kids in the backseat
of that? But do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own?
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning, and I think they'll be able to. And I think they're going to remember this day. And this was a big day for NATO. This was a big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, "You know what? We've been trying to raise the rate for 30 years." He said, 20 years from almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did is amazing. It's been sort of an amazing day for a lot of reasons, but also for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think they can do it without you, though, in the future? Can they do it without
Well, ask Mark. I mean, you have to ask Mark. Okay? So, we're heading back. I want to thank these 2 gentlemen behind me. They're incredible people. Both of them. They're really
excellent wingman today.
She's done great. And thank you very much. This is quite an exciting time. We'll see you in Washington, D.C. Remember this, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. All right, that was great. I was expecting I think reached the top of his game. I mean, he went through country after country. He had anecdotes about all of them. Spain, you're not paid enough. Go increase your budget, jerks. Go write those reports to those two ladies. Then turns around, he's like, oh yeah, the Finnish prime minister, great golfer. And he went to St. Mary's College somewhere in golf, so he knew everything about it. Great golfer, and we're going to buy some icebreakers from your country. Oh, domestic, Jerome Powell, no, here's why. And he goes through the numbers. They lie for money. Then goes over to 24 reports. Pakistan, India, says, I had to train my two kids in the back seat and tell them to stop fighting or I was going to pull this vehicle over. They said, and then someone else comes out and confirms he is dead. Tornado. So that was a very successful NATO trip. And the obliteration has been reported. And we also saw that Hegseth is now going to be launching a probe into the leak. So saying the Pentagon, as of today, launched a criminal investigation into the leak of the DIA report, assessing the damage that the airstrikes didn't set back the program. Hegseth said, we're doing a leak investigation with the FBI right now because this information is for internal purposes, battle damage assessments, he said. He added that the press reports detailing the findings are all trying to spin it to make the president look bad, even if he had overwhelming success. So we're looking forward to the report and all of the details and aftermath of it. But as it stands, the administration certainly looks like they are done. They've had enough. The fight is over. Shake hands, go back to work, and don't let this happen again with Iran and Israel. And that is what concludes for most of us who want two things. One, not to be exploded by nuclear bombs or terrorists or terrorist funding, whatever entities that kill Americans or Israel. We don't want that. We also don't want a 35-year war. We all have to invest in our country where those resources should be expended on other more important things, and we can save American lives in the meantime, which is what we care about. So that, of course, is what's happening there, and good developments to see. All right, now, quick update on Mamdani. This is a pretty wild story yesterday. Cuomo got blown out yesterday and conceded the race in New York. Wild. This shocked everybody. Going, what? Cuomo's like a huge name. Not anymore. Got blown out. And this is a curious thing. A lot of reaction on this. You know, I don't really care much what happens in New York. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion there. They want socialism in their state. They can vote for it, and we can just see what happens. And it's not going to be good. But we don't want to pay for it. We don't want salt tax deductions and all these things. They can pay for their own sanctuaries. They can pay for their own illegal alien housing and all the things. We don't want to give them a dime. Socialist, he's literally a socialist, called Zoran Mamdani. Stunning victory over Cuomo. Shocked everybody. Political earthquake. Democratic Party is now going to be pressured to move further left. And all of us are happy about that. And I hope that they nominate Jasmine Crockett. Says, here, Dems who got trounced by Trump will have to pay more attention to the views of the progressives because they launched him to victory. They called it an important moment in political history. Republicans are thinking, shit, maybe we can win the seat. It's a political earthquake. An unknown defeating Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of the whole state. New York's crazy. Remember, they did that with AOC. Like, that's how she won, too. The harder left you go, the more likely you're going to win. Others mentioned Barack Obama. They said this guy might become the president. The results of the primary are epic. Mamdani's economic populist proposal make him more formidable. And he's talking about weird things, this dude. Like, here's one of his posts. We're going to end cash bail, repeal walking while trans, whatever that is, decriminalize sex work, which is horrific, legalize marijuana, permit safe injection sites, restrict solitary confinement, enact elder parole, and re-enfranchise incarcerated New Yorkers. We don't need an investigation to know that the New York Police Department is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. All we got to do is defund fund the police. That was back in 2020, so another one of his highlights. And a lot of people trying to figure out what the cause of this was. Andrew Cuomo conceded. This is what it sounded like last night.
And I'm proud of the issues that we discussed. But tonight was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mondani's night, and he put together a great campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them.
Touched them more than I did.
To come out and vote.
For those women.
And he really ran a highly impactful campaign. I called him, I congratulated him, I applaud him sincerely for his effort, and let's give him a round of applause.
All right, so Cuomo blown out, and Republicans are thinking maybe they can win this thing. They see an opportunity now to take the seat. Said New York Assemblyman won, but others, Sliwa and others, are now talking about maybe they can take that seat back. Or, of course, you've got Mayor Adams, who's running as an individual. Says some of these things socialist NYC mayor candidate has called for: abolish NYPD, abolish prisons, abolish medical bills, abolish private health insurance, ban all guns, legalize sex work, safe injection sites for drug addicts, end cash bail, decriminalize drug possession, end sentencing enhancement, and end all cooperation with ICE in New York. And they just, they nominate people like Tish, Bragg's over there, and now Mondani in New York. So, of course, we are totally understanding of the little laboratories of democracy that percolate all across the country. And if you want a little socialist hellscape over there, that's fine. But that's on your own terms, your own prerogative. You can tax your own people, manage your own budget, and then provide your little socialist benefits there and see how money. Don't ask for Arizonans to pay for your little social experiment over there. We don't want to give you a dime of that. So if they want to go wild over there and have a bunch of illegal aliens and all the things, then they can do that. We as a country have a right to enforce federal law and go in and clean those aliens out of our country because they're here illegally and they're in violation of federal law. So I think that's ultimately what this is about. It's just kind of a reaction to Trump. They want somebody who's going to be, outside of the system, their guy. And so New York is going to be in for an interesting election. We'll see where it goes. All right, my friends, let's see who's here and joining us. What a beautiful morning it is. Thank you for joining us. How is your Wednesday unfolding? Yeah, so question from Peaches. Basically, so New York is turning into a third world country. Basically, yeah. And human trafficking facilitator and illegal alien poster and weaponized prosecutions against political opponents and corrupt judiciary and all of the things. Yeah, so things are rough out there. Not good. But let's see who's here and joining us, my friends. K-Bean, thank you for clipping for us over on the YouTubes. Peaches, what's up, Peaches? Says you can't blame Trump for Ukraine when the rest of the world is trying to keep them at war. Yeah, it feels like Trump is kind of the only one who wants it to stop. I don't know that Russia has any real interest in stopping because I don't know that they're harmed. Like it's been 4 years essentially. So they're on war footing. They just keep, they've got a nice system. They'll just keep, it's a war of attrition. So like, why does Putin have any incentive to end it? And the Europeans, are going to continue to backfill Zelensky. He's got no desire to end it. Neither side wants to lose, and both sides are trying to save face. So the war perpetuates. Trump wants an end, a conclusion, a settlement, but I don't think either side really does. Mach Schnell, what a nice dono. Thank you, Mach Schnell. Rob, just figured we'd do a dono. You've done such a great job explaining and enlightening the unwashed masses, of which I belong. I missed the live stream, so I figured I should say hi to everyone. What's up, Mach Schnell? Well, thank you for the nice dono, man. I hope your week is off to an amazing start or coming downhill from here. And I thought you were on a voyage into the forest. It was you, right? How did it go? Did it happen? Mach Schnell? You had a forest tribulation, right? Pretty sure. But I could be wrong. I might have gotten you confused with somebody else. But hopefully you got your fill of nature, baby. We all need it. Dark Rogue, what's up? NYC is my concern about the mayor race, because even though I live in the Midwest, because we live in a country of too big to fail, they fail. My tax dollars bail out their failed policies. That's exactly right, Dark Road. Yeah, that's like with the salt tax and the deductions. It's all this. If you want high state taxes, pay them. Don't deduct those from your federal obligations. Make the rest of us cover the gap and give you a windfall. Ridiculous. Thank you, Dark Rogue. I'm with you. And we should not allow, at least, like, we should not allow flagrant open violations of federal law. Clearly. So anybody who's refusing to work with ICE, well, they're violating federal law. And if they're facilitating the violations of federal law, that's a crime. Hey, what's up, Peaches? Okay, so basically New York is going to turn into a third world country. I think some people might say going to. Some parts of it look like it is already a third world country. We've seen images from NYC Viral News on X of just horrendous conditions in parts of the city, and they don't care. A lot of the rich people don't, look at it. They just kind of put their blinders on, like, oh no, it's beautiful city, Wall Street, a lot of money here, a lot of. But yeah, there's little pockets that are like Mexico and other, third world countries. Mark Shaw, what's up? The degenerates will love Mom Donnie's agenda. Yeah, totally. The drug addicts, sex workers, and criminals, they're all going to love it. And then he's going to encourage the degradation of our society and call it social justice in hindsight. Pretty disgusting. But that's the Democratic Party. That's what they do. And KB, thank you for clipping those for us this morning. Nathan shared this. I saw some clips from this, which was over from Theo Vaughn. I saw some good clips on there from Thomas Massey. Recent interview from Massey on Theo Vaughn. Lots of great topics. Folks here may like it. Seems worth a mention. It's 2 hours. Yeah, I saw some clips floating around on X about it. And it looked like a good conversation. And I don't think Thomas Massey's got a lot to worry about, but in terms of his primary. But yeah, definitely an interesting interview, I'm sure. I haven't listened to the full thing. We got, hey, Tobo says, I think the Prez should have interpreted the spin about the bombing being ineffective. He should have said CNN wants us to bomb them again. Yeah. Oh, okay. So do you think we should bomb them again? Should we put boots on the ground? He wants to nuke them now? What would you like us to do, CNN? You drop 500,000 pounds. Should we go drop another 1,000,000 pounds? What else would you like to see? So you just want more war? This old guy. Have you noticed that the standard blink rate for CNN talking heads is off the charts? Just saying. I think that's kind of a liberal thing. I've experienced that. I think I've kind of noticed that pattern over the course of our work together. Like Pelosi would do that. There used to be these charts where I think when they put like McCarthy up next to Pelosi, I've seen videos like that. Pelosi blinks a lot. She's like every other blink, lots of blinking. And then McCarthy just talks like a normal person. You don't need to blink so much. What is that? Are you lying? Rubos, the Statute of Burqa'd Liberty. There you go. You've come a long way, baby. The slogan for women's liberation. You've come a long way, baby. From 9/11 to Sharia law in New York City, an abomination in such a short time. The Dems flooded New York with illegals who voted at unheard levels in this primary. The fix is in. The Democrats hate America. From the Rubos. Good to see you. From the Rubos. Yeah. I mean, we saw like the same pattern happen in London, right? And maybe it's happening in New York now too. Bonnie is here. This says it all. CNN before the Trump attack was saying things like, Iran isn't even close to making a bomb. Then CNN after the Trump attack, Iran can make a bomb tomorrow. Because no matter what Trump does, they just hate him, which is standard operating procedure for them. Thank you for that one. That very nice comment. All right, let's see what else we got, my friends. As soon as we can get locals back up. Here we go. We got this one from Run Mead. Says the future of negotiations for peace between Israel and Iran hinges on convincing the believers that Israel's existence is not preventing the 12th Imam, the Mahdi, from returning to reestablish the rightful governance of Islam globally. Diplomacy is unlikely to resolve this. More kinetics are going to be in the future. Yeah, that's interesting too. Yeah, that's interesting, Runmead. So I guess the question would be, the Jews would oppose that, right? Because the Jews don't want the rightful governance of Islam to happen globally. So they're not going to. And the Christians want Jesus to come back to establish Christendom. And so we got a lot of people who think that we're going to, have some sort of global control as long as we do a couple things. And it's a pretty serious conflict. Chat with me. I can only imagine the future conflicts between New York and ICE. Praying for the agents now, their safety and their families. Yeah. And Chat with me says, I can see ICE going in and cleaning out New York City before the mayoral election. Yeah, I think you might have Mayor Adams, who's got a strong incentive to facilitate that now. And get rid of all these illegals. Let's get this election shored up. Rocky, what's up? Have you compared photos of Massey now versus a few years ago? I'm not sure today's Massey is really Massey. I've never seen such a dramatic difference of appearance just based on glasses and facial hair. From nerd to Rico suave. Yeah. Well, lots happened with Massey lately. Like his wife died, like love of his life died, and he built like I have some empathy for Massey, as much as he can be irritating in his Trump hate. I think he actually does hate Trump, like viscerally, just hates him. So he's predisposed. I think he's got good values, but he's just also predisposed to just oppose Trump. And you might say he's got a valid reason for that because Trump has hit him hard a bunch of times. So they're they're foils and enemies of each other. That's fine. But Massey, he lost his wife recently, and so he's probably going through a little bit of a rebirth, kind of establishing a new identity and coming into being a single man, I guess, right? Yeah, and a congressman. So you can imagine that there's going to be some physical shifts as well. But it's an interesting observation, Rocky Water. Yeah. And I like Massey, his policies a lot in many ways, but not at the expense of losing the game. Right? So I guess I would make a concession if if the Democrats get stronger. If I don't get exactly what we want, then I'm willing to give up some of what I want in order to get some of what I want, rather than nothing of what I want. Pardon Patriot, I am totally down for walling up around New York City so people don't get to leave and reap what they voted for. Don't let this spread. Yeah, wasn't there a Kurt Russell movie about that? Escape from LA, Escape from New York. Could be interesting. Hey, the financial markets began shifting, NY telling us, away from New York City during the poorly managed years under de Blasio. This trend accelerated due to the baseless lawsuit by Tisch against Trump over the real estate valuations, unwarranted prosecution for bookkeeping, and more. Both cases lack legal merit and are likely to be overturned. A Democrat socialist as mayor of New York will only expedite the city's decline and the departure of the financial markets. As for new ideas, what exactly are these? They are urgently needed, as numerous mid-sized cities under progressive governance are failing and require immediate solutions. The solution is to move out of the city. Democrats have overseen crumbling cities, marked by 4 lease signs on every business. So good luck to Mamdani. Yeah. We made a volitional decision to get out of a big city. Phoenix was a big city, and I agree with you. I think the writing's on the wall for the big cities. Hey Rob, what's up, Oopsie? Hey Rob, got here in the middle of the NATO press conference. Can you summarize the outcome of the NATO meeting for me? And also, what do you think is the reason Trump is not getting rid of NATO altogether? Great questions, Oopsie. Well, I don't know if I could summarize the whole thing. I mean, we just listened to the questions, the Q&A. Trump talked a lot about, or answered a lot of questions from people from Spain, from Finland, and a bunch of other things. But hopefully you watch it, and because I thought it was quite good. But ultimately, I think Trump went, probably did some deals, talked to some people, showed face, just kind of like a convention almost. It felt like a convention to me. Like, is there a takeaway? Is there like a what now comes out of NATO? I haven't seen anything like that. I'm not sure if anybody has, and that might be what you're asking, Lucy. Like, are we going to have a end to the war in Ukraine? I don't think so. Did we come to conclusions with Iran and Israel? No. I think it was just like a big convention. Just like you go to hang out with a bunch of other lawyers or something. So a bunch of world leaders, they took their family photo, and that's about it. And I don't know that Trump has the ability to get rid of NATO. I don't think that it's a subordinate entity of the United States, right? It's a trade organization of a bunch of other countries. So I think maybe the other question would be, can Trump just leave it or stop funding it and those things? And I think ultimately, NATO probably does serve an American interest at some level, because we do have a bunch of these other countries that create a block against some of the other countries that have their block, like the BRICS and the rest of the things. So I think there's still some strategic reason for being in NATO, but you don't want NATO to be a kind of like a burden on America that is not evenly distributed across the other beneficiaries, is how I'm trying to say it. So, good question, Bootsy. But it was a good one. I'd encourage you to watch the whole thing from Trump. He took a lot of questions. He's super poised, knew, and had answers to basically everything, which I thought was great. We got this one from Peaches. It says, I missed yesterday when Trump threw out the F-bomb. Priceless. Yeah, it was pretty good. They don't know what the F they're doing. Mic drop, walks to the airplane. Good to see you, Peaches. And yeah, KB sharing this one. Swear jar, Mr. President. It's expensive to use those words. It's expensive, right? It costs something. You only use it in appropriate times. If you did, but you still have to pay the penalty. No one's above the swear jar tip. Thank you, KB, for that. Wes Downer says, we need Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, and Pete Hegseth emojis. That's a great idea. We haven't seen Just Rhonda in a while, our purveyor of fine emojis. I'm sure she's busy out there grinding away. But those are great suggestions. Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, and Pete Hegseth. We got Just Rhonda. She's our purveyor of fine emojis. So Just Rhonda.
Yeah. Just kind of looking. We just got the word that they totaled her Jeep out, so I'm just kind of looking.
35%.
I'm going to get online. I just took a couple pictures.
Donnie takes the left wing. Sliwa takes 35% of New Yorkers who are not crazy.
I'll hit this one. I'm looking at used ones for.
We get a third. And we get a Republican mayor there. Can you imagine that? Talk about all-time political backfires.
Jesus.
Yeah. That happens. They would not be happy about that.
This is like, holy crap. Perrysburg Auto Mall. What is the Buick version of the tracks? I'm going to look at the new, glance at these new ones first.
Locals chat is not there. Why? Oh, why? All right, so locals friends, I don't know if you said anything else.
It's called the Eventi.
Here's what my screen looks like.
Invista.
For whatever reason.
Just the Buick version of the tracks. I like them. They're kind of cute.
A little bit of slowness there. All right, we're still here. Good. All right, good. We got refresh.
Let's see what they're going for.
It says the Jewish
tracks are going for about 25 new. The Buick is just going to be a more luxurious version of it, so I'm not even going to look actually.
Falls away, and all humans rise to their highest God-given potential, and there will be an end of all wars. The good in all the world's religions will be.
She's a grandma now. She needs to drive a Buick. That's what I'll tell her.
Will be pruned in the garden
if I build up the guts.
The third temple will be rebuilt. Scarcity issues will fade away, and the Edenic vision will be restored, like the Garden of Eden. Anyone is welcome to contact me at thechinahustle.us. Yeah, see, so again, this is like the Muslims.
These don't have the year stickers in them like the other one does.
And the Jews want to rebuild the third temple. I think some like Ted Cruz think that that's going to cause.
There we go, get her.
And then the Christians are ultimately.
Camaro.
So it's very complicated. But Defrauded. Shout out to Defrauded.
She likes the Equinoxes.
Knows his philosophy, especially from the Jewish perspective. Shout out Defrauded. Thank you for that. Very informative.
Might be easier to look online.
That's kind of my.
That's a Lincoln Aviator.
This sort of resonates with me because I think.
Ooh.
Not the most politically, religious, philosophically educated, but it does seem strange to me.
Big old
if you have to do
Wagoneer,
like these certain
These things are monsters, man.
Actions, like physical actions in the world in order to trigger God to come and do something. Like the causation there.
Ford Flex.
Like I've seen videos and stuff. Like people with red heifers, like this cow. Like they're trying to like create this cow and they slaughter the cow and this thing happens. Like God did all these things like in order and in that sequence. And it's like a magical key. Or it's like Indiana Jones or something, right? It's like do all these things exactly right. And then the Savior's going to come back and save us all. It's like, what? Is that how it works? It's supposed to afford to me. Or is it more about, living according to humans' divine inspiration?
I'm glad I didn't co-sign for my other son.
Living in alignment with God and his values.
Probably don't have to co-sign for this. So. There's an electric equinox. RS.
Whether it's a Christian love or a Jewish love or an Islamic love or a Buddhist love or a Hindu love or whatever it is, you're acting in alignment with that divine purpose and you're in sync with that. How are you not in alignment with that higher power?
Much older ones too.
When we start to then split hairs on this one.
I don't even know which dealership owns these ones.
Saved if you do this and this and this and this. Even though you're a
Volvo, or does Volvo start here? Or Volkswagen, I mean. There's a Volvo there too, though. I mean, they're all together. It's hard to tell.
Do that crap like you're going to do crap, but like for that person, like go through the motions.
Lot is closed 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
And then you're still a terrible person, and like you're going to be saved because you went through the motions. Like, you went to church so many times. I don't think so. Is how I feel instinctually. Jonah Finn says, can't get out of NATO.
Pulled over?
Or defund it because without a 2/3 vote from the Senate, because Biden put in an appropriations bill making it law. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's like
I might just turn around and check that out. Follow him in.
How that works. So Trump didn't have any unilateral power to get out of it anyways.
Fuck.
Interesting. All right, so my
flying.
Refresh, make sure we're not missing anything. We'll call it a morning. We're gonna have a great stream.
We'll have the scanner on, so I don't know.
We've got Trump is suing.
Oh, yeah, he's just
judges in Maryland.
Going for service.
Suing like the whole bench for what they did yesterday. Good, great. So we'll read through that. Chat with me. What's up, Bootsy? Hey, Chat with me says Australia was an established country, mainly from criminals, and it developed into a highly respected country for a while. Perhaps if New York further declines, it can rise from the ashes like the Phoenix. So,
I wonder if there's a GMC version of the tracks.
Rocky says, I've always liked Massey. My point was more like, it surprises me how much his appearance makes me take him more seriously. Because it's true that somehow I take him more seriously with his new look. It reminds me of how much I'm swayed by appearance alone. Anyhow, I have to say Rocky. Just kind of a random news there from Rocky. Yeah, news look reminds me how much I'm swayed by appearance. It's an interesting one. I mean, Massey did kind of have like a baby face before, and now he doesn't. And it kind of was like he's been hardened up. He's like came back from the war. He goes over the war. Looks like a young boy comes back.
H2 there.
And got some gray hairs.
I didn't buy it. Yeah.
The Antichrist won't have a woman. Whether that means he's just not married or he's a homosexual, I don't know. I don't care. It can't be President Trump because of Melania. I'm told my brother that who reads her Bible. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father.
Give me a nice work truck here. Things are nice. 4-door, Sierra HD, with a box in the back. What do you think, 80, 90 grand?
I get that.
Minimum?
So, like, that's my point. It's like, all right, so I got the right, I've got Jesus. It's my salvation. I got him. But, like, what about the good Buddhists who are in some foreign tribe somewhere else, and they don't know anything about Christianity. They've never had the opportunity to
what the hell's that?
Jesus or the teachings of Jesus or whatever.
Sounds racist.
Have the possibility of claiming that Jesus is their savior. Does that good person also still just not get access, even though they live a life of love and let's say they live just coincidentally all of Jesus's teachings and
I don't know what he's talking about.
Amazing people, but they just never verbalize.
All right, he's just going through the fucking super chats now, so I'm turning the scanner. I don't want to be stopped for too long, or dealer's going to come running out in the heat here. I don't want to tease them. Oh, okay. Never have to make a payment. Yeah, right. Just leave it locked in there. They'll come get it from her at work. Oh, can't do that. Yeah, they'll always get it. Family discount. I think everybody's getting the employee discount at Ford right now. It's got to be new. Oh, I guess we're in me. I'll go check that one out. I just kind of wanted to do a quick drive by, see what's available. Maybe head over to a dealership. Swedish.
Team, Ocean Sam, 4411, white, Toyota Red 4, 5. United 25, 1527. United 25, 1527. Team Ocean Sam, 4411, white, Toyota Red 4. Engine 9 to dispatch, heading to the shop for repair. Still be in service. Engine 9 to 20. 906. 2608.
That's what I'm saying, man. She can drive this, and I'll drive the Bronco. I'll have to have a day job to do that, though. Those sons of bitches aren't cheap.
Billy 9, engine 7, we're on scene. What equipment do you need inside? Okay. Okay, Henry. You're clear. Never. Go to crash. As I say, put us out at Lafayette here on assisting traffic. Got me Mac 21 around here. 23, 22. Okay, Lafayette here on assisting with traffic. Roger that. 9.14 around there. Good. 61
you could check the alarm right there at 1122 North Detroit, Spanish Auto, coming from front motion. 1122 North Detroit.
George. Oh, yeah, out to the code 2 from HJ and errand 20.
Yeah.
Like 2 exits down, there's a big Ford dealership. We'll take a look. We listen to the scanner.
1365, call back, please. 1365.
Rescue 6, ill person, Oak Street and Earl Street, use channel 3. Rescue 6, ill person, Oak Street and Earl Street. Patient's going to be under the tree. Channel 3, hang on 13.
He's been hanging out in the 302 Sunset. You might belong here if you could try and find a number. It's a medium-sized white dog with black spots. Number. Dispatch 1365.
Seven Charles Dispatch, 555. See man in Long North.
I love Ford too. My dad retired from there, but man, they've had a lot of recalls lately.
271 Dispatch. I'll be wrapping this one up here shortly. I can take care of it when I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, house crew, anyway, call somebody on emergency over.
That was me.
Okay, she's called back in now.
I'm clear. One away.
Hey, Brandon. Hey, you don't have to dox yourself, but what part of Michigan you guys at? So you don't have to dox yourself, but dox yourself. They got a bunch of used ones over here too. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen.
Northwest Ohio, Ketamine Clinic, 7053 West Central Avenue, Houston District Court, Use Channel 3.
Ketamine Clinic.
Engine 62 Medic 62 Medical Alarm, Northwest Ohio, Ketamine Clinic, 7053 West Central Avenue.
I didn't know they had ketamine clinics.
This is going to be from a pendant push. Channel 3, 10 on 1332.
Oh, okay.
Or you can disregard a neighbor said it's not, it doesn't belong to 302. 711-710 immediate response message to call at 833 Door Street. Mail caller Isha versus Living
Yeah, I'm near Mommy now.
Caller. He's waiting in a gray Jeep Cherokee. 833 Door Street. 711. 710. 773.
32. 139 Edward. One away. Are you coming out grocery or the other side?
No, I wouldn't either.
Get
Get over here. It's this exit, I think. This used to be a short exit. Now it's a long exit. They're making it a double exit.
821 on scene.
821 on scene.
I don't know why they haven't opened this one.
23. What kind of grocery sir? 67.
It looks done. They just need to paint the lines.
Engine 7, Medic 9, you can't. They're putting out an assist for
Mommy.
Mommy.
Mommy. M-A-U-M-E.
9502 interest.
Okay, 1335.
It's the town named after the river.
Eric is the one that's calling, saying he's fighting with
Runs through here.
It's 407. Passenger Seven Carter, 5235 Monroe. 6235 Monroe. Let me see Bethany, the manager. 5235 Monroe at Carter's. 407.
You close these out.
He's disconnecting now, the 911 operator.
All right, copy. 4-7 cleared.
Go ahead. 54. Go ahead. Here. I have him on a leash, but I'm not able to get into my car. Do you think you can call the dog warden and see if they have anybody available? 5235 Monroe Street at Carter's. Station 29, you have a run. Charles Crest Apartment, 4222 Schreier Road, Unit A, Adam, for lift assist only. Station 29, you have a run. Charles Crest Apartment, 1222 Schreier Road, Unit A, Adam, for lift assist only. Time out is 1334. East Channel 1.
41 Baker.
41 Baker. Wayne County 152. Agent Meg, the Charles Crest Apartment, 1222 Schreier Road, Unit A, Adam, for lift assist only.
10-30s are out. Clear response needed.
There's some used ones right here.
There is a note from the south.
Oh, there's a used Bronco sitting over there too.
Clear, area 85.
Couple exploders. 25s. Oh, these are new.
The door should be unlocked. If not, you can call in with key information.
Well, they're used. New used.
Go ahead. We're clear for it.
She loves these too.
Clear as well. You can close the side port and you need door 2, please.
That's correct. He's saying, yeah, that's correct. He's not being locked.
23.
That's up to you. He said he was going to the station. It looks like he's the only caller. The female has to not call.
Right first,
Good.
Alright, copy.
Jeez, it's way behind.
Can you run a CCH on him for DNA? And advise me if he has DNA on file?
Ooh. There's a demo. Oh, those are electric. You can tell by the front of them. What the hell is this? Demo. Means they gotta sell it for less, right? What is that?
Do you advise it is?
Go ahead.
52. Okay.
52?
All three of these are demos.
They're going to have to send somebody from the shelter. So we said affirmative on a 20
Be right back.
Chrysler Burn and color.
Hey, 54. I'll grab that. Give me out of there, which property book?
Here for you.
It's 41 for 25. Go ahead. So you can go ahead now. I'll check that vehicle. I don't need to check 335. That's the only address we have. 82 with 220. Yeah, 437. If you want to check that way as well.
Okay, I'm here. 421 person, 25 times install, number 233. Danielle Camille knocked on her door, ready to turn off her electricity, and she didn't pay him $241. He's a white male in a blue ball cap, dark color shirt.
This is QA copy. Were you able to find us a new Conquer?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. Station 64, medic 64, stroke. Case of Sylvania Rehab. 4121 North King Road, Route 206, near West Sylvania. Use channel 3. Station 64, medic 64, stroke. Case of Sylvania Rehab. 4121 North King Road, Route 206, near West Sylvania. Use channel 3.
Fucking demo escapes going for 33 grand. Fuck you. Why are all these demos? Dude, like these dealers take home something new all the time? Or were they rentals? All these are escapes. They're going for 33 grand a piece. They have 4 fucking Rangers. She likes the edges, but I think that's what these are up here. Ooh, a 2017. That's what I'm talking about. Quick peek.
Gemini area check-in. 99, ticket over 619, Kentucky Street, near Scott, with you 3. The one I need is that.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. 108,000 miles. This red one here, it's a 2017. It's got 108,000 miles on it already, though. But they only want 14 for it. Let's check out this blue one and the green one.
It's okay in 5.
I'm not finding any vehicles in the roadway or otherwise. George.
What the fuck?
Forest and route with one with Flower Hospital.
Yeah. That many miles. We're asking for a lot. I actually know somebody who works here. These look like personal vehicles. They only got charging stations here for the phones. Blink EV. Oh, there we go. Off-brand ones. Some Hondas, Toyota, Kia, VW, Honda. For sale, over service. There's some electric Mustangs. Lincoln's over there. That's pretty. I like that color. The green Bronco. Somebody owns it. These are Mavericks. Let's see. A couple of Rangers. A couple of Ford fucking Rangers. Black one's a Ranger. One more check, and I'm calling it.
Are you asking about the 11th regular welfare check?
Damn. 45 grand for a fucking Ranger, dude. Man. Yeah, YOLO. These are the baby Broncos. These are the little sports. But they're not that much cheaper. So I'm going to get a Bronco. I want to get a full-size one. You didn't see them? Here, I'll do another drive-by. They don't even look like Mustangs. They shouldn't have called it a Mustang. No, that's a fucking Mustang. The Cobra just went by. Those two things there. That blue one and that white one. They call them Mach-E's. Listen to this Shelby, though. I just heard it roaring. Is he going to come out? Here, no, this is the Mustang right here. Oh, did he go out a different way? I must have went out a different way.
And the 30 back quarters. 3316. 1326. 2623. What's that? 23. 443.
Yeah, 45 for a fucking Ford fucking Ranger.
Vehicles in line with yelling in the background. Locations from Rapid. 139, I didn't copy. 437.
Copy. 1527. 437. Sam on that number, report number. This received a TX from reps. They're advising they received a call reference to scope 2 already. They do have a record en route. I advise you're also en route to it as well.
It's going to be 2500-9664.
People.
Okay. Plate's going to be main plate 2839386. 2839386 on me. What? Yeah, 58 Baker. 58 Baker.
East Valley Port, please.
Oh, yeah? Actually, this building right in front of us is the other detox place I used to do IT work for. I reran that whole building there. Hey, missing.
821 on C. 23, 2600, go over here. 23. 67 headquarters. 7 Boundary, copy signal 242 train. Medicaid fire dispatch. Medicaid on chain 50.
I don't know where I'm at right now. Oh, shit, man, fucking road sucks here. I used to be able to go left here. They put a fucking island. Well, that blows. You gotta go right. Shit, so let's see. Yeah, plenty of sunshine. I'll give you that. What are we up to here now? Yeah, we're up to 95 here now.
Yeah, they called her advised they were going to give us a call back when the employee left. Medicaid 7 out of Perrysburg. I'm not seeing that. No, if they can call her back and see what's going on. That's clear. If you don't mind giving the caller a call back and just have them advise when the employee left the property. Clear. 437 Daddy. 54 and 821 or 23. Okay. 83.
I think I'm just gonna head home. I haven't heard from Brandon.
Guys. 54, you still on the line? Yes. So that's affirmative.
I may go back out later. Gotta go check on our doggo. I think he's due for his antibiotics and his pain meds.
You're clear. You go 33, you can answer. Wait, can you name it? Go ahead. You show me out at 2958 Green Drum. You can clear the call. She advised that the mail has left and everything went better than expected. 2958 Green Drum. That's clear, thank you. I'll be 35 Edward. 41, I think. 437 dispatch. Can you lock me out from having care issues again? Hello.
Actually, let me go straight here. Change your heart.
Yes, for Hartforders. It's in the MRE building on 250.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring me some Wingstop home. Oh yeah.
I got a disorder at 2526 Schroeder Street, near Douglas. Open line arguing, no one's coming to the line. Male versus female. 2526 Schroeder Street. 521. That's a 5. Change my location from lot 111 to lot 248.
She's just gonna keep her fucking door open. So no one else can pull up.
611. We'll take it at him.
611.
Ghetto.
Yeah, 710.
Station 77 injury accident, truck versus pole, Mechanic Street, North River, use channel 4. Station 77 injury accident, Mechanic Street in North River, truck versus pole, channel 4, time up 1350.
briefly. So when they need dispatch, that's what I need. Please put me out at 760 Lotus.
Five eleven. Change my location to the Kroger on Secord Monroe. I'm gonna meet up with the owner of this property.
Affirmative. At the South Boundary Pump Station, 6150 South Boundary, we have a B&E alarm, like a low pressure alarm. It's the South Boundary Pump Station.
She's in 854.
54.
3777.
Hurry up, Bruce.
Yep.
6 transporting to Bay Park.
Request for a callback to clarify the his ex was leaving out Sunday or Monday. It hasn't been going well. He just wants to speak with someone about a keep the peace for 111 Taylor Drive. It's 20 and 27. Have a 77 figure out.
You were a little broken up. The 111 trailer driver, they're requesting us now.
Property damage act here in Mechanic North River. We can report to the truck that found the pole. The lights and wires are seen as sparking. We're also getting into a trailer mechanic. Mechanic in North River Road. 20.
What unit was en route?
Negative. His ex is moving out Sunday or Monday. It's not been going well. He just wants to speak to someone about they keep the peace and give them a heads up. Medic 77.
GMA 77, Shell 4. 300 account that I can call back.
Yeah, tell me about Wingy. Not if you use the app. Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Lady thought it was her car. I've done that before too.
Oh my gosh.
I know. She almost got shot. No, I'm not gonna do that. This is poor old lady. That's the one that had the door open. I feel kind of bad for her. I'm getting him some wine. I'm gonna get hot honey rub and that new Mexican street spice. I want to try that. And I don't ever get the fries. I get the Cajun fried corn. Yeah. It's gonna take 15 minutes at least. How the door dashers picking up food though? So about 20 minutes. Yeah. We're going to give the scanner a break.
So I did some like stage fighting courses, and that's sort of what you're reminding me of right now. Like you
The
are
video
trying
footage
to.
of an FPV first person view of like stabbing and getting stabbed was really I thought it was going to be really cool, but sadly none of it has made it out.
I thought I saw some sort of like kung fu training going on at the Beanie compound.
That was me. I brought in an MMA trainer.
Yes, I remember that clip.
The fatties were working out all of it. And then Tim decided to give everyone an incentive and said he would pay everyone $100 who worked out.
That's good. Who cares?
And
as
then
long as you're doing it.
Workouts, and then people stopped coming to him.
Yeah.
I mean, the hard thing about that environment is like I remember I didn't do that, but it's because I was working. Like,
yeah, I was like, "Hey, come on, let's go." But Tim gave you a break. Tim was like, "Hey, I'll pay you extra."
Well, I worked on the news, so you can't really be like, "Oh, news stop for the day." I'll
like
have
a bunch
right
of
back.
excuses.
That's my reason too. Yeah. Like it's just the news is always coming, and so I just don't have any time to work out. Like you guys understand, right? Yeah, that's
no. The more you work out, the more productive you actually become. The more mentally sane
I'll be right back.
you actually become. So working out is a key essential component towards doing this type of stuff, because otherwise your quality of work and your productivity actually goes down if you do not work out. So that's why I recommend working out, and that's why I literally got like a tough, crazy MMA guy. He was like an insane, like killer murderer guy.
Yeah, I remember that guy. I remember watching people that. Yeah, I remember watching. I won't name any names, but like because obviously, like I remember it was like getting back into it. Like after not, everyone looked extremely uncomfortable.
Yes,
like the
Dirty Dog.
Yeah, but
I just seen the $10, man. Thank you, brother. I don't know why. Fucking. Oh, there it is. It did show up.
You can't just talk. You gotta walk. So, especially with random people. I was there when a random guy walked into our home where I lived.
Wasn't I there too? I feel like I was. But wasn't I there for that one guy? He came in.
Go.
The guy that his name was like X or some shit like that.
No, this was a guy that was like running for Congress.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
I don't remember.
I don't think. I mean, I was there then, and I don't remember.
I feel like I remember. It might have been right around when I was there, because like, yeah, the guy just like walked in like it was any old business open for public, and he's like, "Hey, put me." And then he turned out to be like a psychopath.
From what I remember about that guy, he was like, "My kids are in the car. We drove a ridiculous number of hours." And I was like, this is all very not good.
There were multiple guys coming in randomly into our home, and that's why I was like, "Okay, guys, now we're gonna learn how to fight." I set up the little fight club in the Beanie compound.
Now, some big news. Last night, we had pretty interesting crime. Now, everyone's acting like, well, it's over for sure now because it's New York and they're never going to elect a Republican. No, I mean, like this guy, Zoran Mamdi. I am hearkened. I feel like we've
right.
Seen
I posted it on the screen though.
Like this is just London happening. Like New York's just going to be a worse London.
Yeah, I'm not monetized on YouTube anymore. They're offering for me to do it, but they can suck it.
Any chance? Like, why was anybody even surprised that he won? He was running against Andrew Cuomo. Yeah.
Well, he was running against Amy Cuomo and the comptroller backed the socialists, which is kind of fascinating. I mean, I guess you don't have great choices. Andrew Cuomo, resigned in disgrace, and this guy's a character to say the least. But it really seems like the Democrats are drifting to extremes in every sense of the word in New York.
Yeah, I mean, as a former New Yorker, a reformed New Yorker, Luke, I mean, how much? I mean, like, hot take, I would never vote for a Muslim. Ever. And New York may have just signed its death warrant. Now, New York is an unstoppable hellscape the way it is now, but I see what that loser did to London. It's part and parcel for living in the big city, and we're going to have prayer rugs on the street. Like, this guy, is there any chance in hell Now, the one thing that could help is if Eric Adams runs, how I understand it, as like an independent, they may split the vote, and they could actually get the Republicans in.
No way. There's so many registered Democrats in New York City. You're going to expect everyone to flip their party registration to Republican or independent now? Get the hell out of here. This guy.
No, but Eric Adams is a Democrat. You know, like
he's not running on the Democratic ticket. He's running as an independent.
Right. Yeah.
But that means he's not competing for the Democratic primary. Like he's not in this ranked choice voting. Yeah. And that's always the concern with any third party, independent or anything else, is that they take away enough votes from whichever candidate is strong enough and get the Ross Perot effect and someone else gets in.
Well, that's because Kathy Hochul and the Democrats kicked out Eric Adams.
I can't.
Being loyal enough to the Democratic.
My controls are fucked on this right now.
Mass influx of migrants into New York City, like he should have.
That was like the only Eric Adams that was the only sway from the message.
I can't even end the stream. It ain't gonna let me the way it's set up right now.
And that was it. They
I wanted to.
Kicked him out. Like I don't remember if it was a Me Too, but he was under investigation immediately.
All right, this may buffer for a second.
And then now.
What's his name? That's
gonna be the
what's his name? The guy with the red beret. Swilwell. That's Swilwell.
No, that's the guy in California.
No, I know who you're talking about. Curtis.
Curtis Swilwell or something.
He was like,
damn it.
Especially during the remember that famous case where a man like shot a guy on the subway in New York? He's kind of famous for being like a local.
The red.
That guy. Oh, okay, that guy who has like the citizen patrol. Yeah.
Yeah.
No chance. That guy's got no chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it. It's fucking up.
Silwa. Curtis Silwa.
He founded the Garden Angels in 1960.
Yep. Yeah. I can't. It's not even letting me see the controls to.
There's going to be, unless there's a miracle, there's so many registered Democrats. This guy already won. That's why a lot of people are saying New York City's future is already decided. Now there might be a coalition between Curtis and Eric Adams, but
yeah, they're fucking. They were giving them away at the bar the other day. They're $3, but they're like
he declared
opposite of blue blockers. They've got like cool Yellowstone ones, but these are cheap. And if I crack them or break them, I don't give a fuck.
He wants to decriminalize sex work. He wants to legalize marijuana, permit safe injection sites. Right?
He's everything that guy wants.
Back to its heyday.
Yeah, what's the?
Booming.
He's not. Yeah, crackheads. You didn't have to worry about crackheads though. You got to worry about the YNs, as they say. Crackheads weren't stabbing you. What's that?
What are the YNs?
Hannah Claire told me about it the other day in the private chat. Like crackheads just do their crack. They might do some petty crime. They're not going to kill you. Yeah. This guy is going to import. I mean, this is crazy. This guy's going to be running New York City. It's going to be the most progressive city in America. It's not even going to be close. And who's the guy from London? Samir Khan, Naeem Anajah, whatever his stupid name is, Sadiq Khan.
Well, I can't even get to the controls to end the stream or even flip it.
Like
the camera.
Actual shithole. And the only people telling you that it's not don't live there.
Okay, there I can.
Yeah, people that live there are like, this is
all
a
right.
shithole.
You came back.
Live in Paris. This is a shithole.
The controls came back.
That's exactly what they say. Let's try if we get Gary back. Gary, you there?
Yeah, I finally made it. I apologize.
Oh no, I love them. They're badass.
I'm in the casino. I had to cash out for $20K.
Ain't nobody gonna steal these.
Oh, okay. Well, how much did you put in though? That's the thing. If you take it out.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I actually lose more days than I win. But when I lose like 10%. I lose like 20%. When I win like 5, 6, 700%. So even though it's like being a home run hitter, you expect more strikeouts, but when you hit that grand slam, it makes up for everything.
Okay.
Well, Luke introduced us. Why don't you let the people know who you are and where they can follow you and what kind of stuff to expect to hear from you?
Yeah, well,
Even Gary, right? Yeah. Gary.
yeah. Thanks for the panel for having me on. I'm in the middle of the Midwest. I'm usually either in Vegas or Miami, but I'm in some Midwest shithole right now, so
Easy.
my apologies. But basically, I do numerology and astrology. I am that guy in the field. When you talk about Michael Jordan, I'm the Michael Jordan numerology and astrology, and I have very strong political takes. My name's Gary the Numbers Guy. I support President Trump unequivocally. And I think we just found out that President Trump is completely in control. And
I don't know, Luke. What is Luke going to say about that? I think BB has something else to say about that, but let's not get into that now. Yeah, we'll save that for about 2 years now, and Gary has been, I think, one of the most fascinating figures that I have ever had the pleasure of interviewing. I really like interviewing him because it's always something that he talks about or he says. I mean, why did you take the lead, Luke? Why did you take the lead on this? Yeah, he was able to prophesize the kind of end of Elon Musk and the Donald Trump relationship here. He has a lot of very bold predictions, and a lot of the times the bold predictions are true. And it's always as the Midwestern people, like Jeremy would say, it's always a hoot.
Yeah, we are. It's like
I don't ever say anything's a hoot. It's
95 here right now.
Iconic American language.
It's always
It was 98 yesterday.
To hang out with Gary and to learn from Gary, and he's been one of my friends down here in Miami that I truly learned a lot from. So he's always a great guy, so I appreciate him joining us here. I was just telling Jeremy it's his enemy year.
Checks in the mail, bro. Checks in the mail, bro.
Yeah. Wait, it's my
I appreciate the
this
kind
is
words.
it's my enemy year? How do you know that, Luke?
What's your birthday?
Like the year or the full
Everything.
4/12/83.
4/12/83. Okay, so you're a born leader. You do well under pressure. You're pretty funny. You're really good at multitasking. You do get bored very quickly, and sometimes when you get bored, you lose passion. You can get lazy, and that's why you got to be a multitasker. You're definitely got a good mouthpiece. Definitely very good at sales and things of that nature. Looks like
he's good with money.
Yeah, he's definitely good with money. The problem is, just like Elon Musk is born 1971 year of the pig, and a lot of people who are born in pig years don't do too well in 2025, the year of the snake. So my advice to you would probably be to lay low a little bit. Don't take many risks. Don't take many chances. I mean, Wes Watson is born in the year of the pig. You see what happened to him. He got charges. Megan Thee Stallion is born in the year of the pig. She's not having too many good issues this year. Who's that famous black guy, Alton? He just got exposed by iShowSpeed. He's in his enemy year. So when people are in their enemy year, they just got to lay low. So my advice to you is don't pick too many fights this year. And I know you're good at that.
Yeah. That's actually exceedingly, I will say this, chat. Tell them the truth. I've been telling you in the chat. Hey, man. I will say that is very accurate. Like, exceedingly accurate. I don't know if Hannah Claire wants to share. I don't know.
Oh, I'm here to pick too.
Oh,
okay. All right, come on. What's your birthday?
June 6, 1985.
June 6, 1985.
95.
So, 1995?
She's just a baby, yeah.
Okay, so if you're born 95, you're born in the year of the pig just like him, and this is your enemy year too, which means you've been kind of having some setbacks this year. But as a person, you're very home and family oriented. Like you actually want kids. You are
just had one.
outstanding. When it comes down to it, you're going to be one of those type of people.
Yeah, he is pretty obnoxious. I like him for just comedy.
You're also very adaptive. You have a very adaptive personality. You could be at home in high society or the hood. It doesn't matter. You adapt, and that's your greatest skill in life. It looks like your life changed 2023. That's when you had the big shift in your life. And quite frankly, you started communicating more. You started networking more. And that's probably why you're in the field you are today.
Interesting. What's your year? What are you?
Yeah, I don't talk about myself.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm born in, I'm a Capricorn. I'm a 33.
No, that's not Melanie. It's Hannah. Let me go see if this is ready.
What they call a master teacher. And, I'm
right back.
basically teach. Ask Luke. That's what I did to him. That's what I do for a lot of people. And quite frankly, numerology and astrology are basically the the cheat codes within the Matrix. You know, Andrew Tate talks a lot about the Matrix. He talks about the government, the Rothschild. That's not the Matrix. That's within the Matrix. The Matrix itself is all this illusionary stuff around us. But if you understand how numerology and astrology works, you can navigate through the Matrix. For instance, we all remember the names Napoleon, Genghis Khan. And the reason we remember those names is not because there weren't better men than them and there weren't smarter people than them. The reason we remember their names is because of timing. They did things at the right time, and that's why they're remembered through history. And if you understand numerology and astrology, you have that edge in life where you can do things at the right time and know when not to do things. Like in your cases, this being your enemy year and not the year to push. Make sense?
When did you get into this? What made you interested in numerology?
2001. 2001, when 9/11 happened, I was, wait a second. The emergency code is 9/11, and the Twin Towers fell on 9/11, and they both look like 11 side by side, and they both had 110 stories. New York City, 11 letters. New York, the 11th State of the Union. And at some point, I was like, well, what the hell is this? It's a smoking gun. I just didn't understand what it meant. Now I do understand what it means. And it's to the point where I understand that the government commits terror attacks on certain dates to get responses out of people, get reactions out of people. The perfect example is Al-Qaeda. What do you think? That's a government proxy or whatever? It doesn't matter. They were founded August 11th. The three biggest terrorist attacks that they did was in Madrid, Spain on 3/11, Mumbai, India on July 11, and again in America on 9/11. So they're founded on 11th, and their three biggest ones they know they do are all on the 11th. At that point, you have to understand that the mathematical chances of that being a coincidence are very slim. So obviously people are doing things on purpose. Now you have to understand why they're doing it, figure that out. And that's what I've been doing for the past 20 years.
What do you think about New York City voting in what looks like a Fabian socialist Islamic mayor?
You know, I have a lot of Muslim friends, and my wife is Muslim, and my family's members are Muslim, but I know enough that you don't want them in big crowds. You know, they're okay once they're like 1-2% of society, but once they start getting to about 15-30%, then they start trying to push their Sharia, start push their way of thinking, and that's dangerous because you have to understand that Islam is not like Christianity, and it's not like Judaism, it's not like Hinduism. It's actually a political system. We don't have Christian courts. They have Sharia courts. So it's more of a political system. And the issue is they kind of do the same thing that the Christians did about 200 years ago. They started sending all their embassies all over the place. And these people who are coming into this country in Western Europe, they're basically spreading Islam. And while Islam itself is not bad because, you know, they want women to cover up and they have core family values, that's not a bad thing. The bad thing comes when, you got to start paying a jizya tax. You got to go back is look at the Ottoman, the last Islamic successful caliphate. What they do, they invaded lands and they started telling you, if you're not a Muslim, you got to pay a fucking tax.
Oh, I thought you meant something totally different when you said jizya tax.
No, it's called a jizya tax. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it right, but
no, I thought you were talking about cum. So
teenage boy.
I'm a child. Just so you guys know, I'm a child.
And he is. He's right. He's born on the 12th. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 is a childlike energy. Child starts with C. C is the third letter. So yes, he's always going to be somewhat of a child.
If I ever stop thinking farts are funny, I'll just drive off a cliff. Like that's a big part of my life.
You don't want to lose the Wincy, no?
Yeah, I don't want to know how. I don't want to lose how I got here.
I got my car because
of dude just standing in the road.
Oh yeah, that was a
nice way to make a lick.
Weird.
Yeah. The farting car was probably one of the first things I also did. My wife bought it.
What the fuck are these guys doing?
Where's the fart app? How do I make the seats?
Don't Teslas do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder where I learned that one from, huh, Luke?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
What did I miss?
Obviously there's a lot of people who are like, this is who we, you're not going to be the first, that's not going to be the first time you felt that way. And you're not obviously here to say like, hey, this is the only thing. This is just something that you do or that you're into. What kind of other big events do you think, like, what convinced you that there may be something to this? You said 9/11.
Well, I'll give you examples. I understand what you're saying. I've heard this question many times. I'll give you examples. I always wanted to know.
My mind is open, by the way, Gary.
No, okay.
Yeah, I don't tell.
Well, if you're friends with Luke, I'm assuming you got to be open to a point.
You have to be.
But here's what it comes down to. When I was a kid, I always wondered why some people are rich, and then I found out 28's number of wealth, and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and 6 of the 18th richest men in the world are born on the 28th. I'm like, wow, what a coincidence! And then I saw that Elon Musk this year had a baby born on the 28th. He sold his Twitter to his AI company on the 28th, and he's going to start selling the robo taxis off the assembly line on the 28th. And then you have to start understanding that people in positions of power are doing things on purpose to basically enhance their abilities to accomplish their goals. So let's go to, everyone talks about BlackRock. I want to talk about Vanguard. Vanguard, it owns stock in BlackRock. BlackRock does not own stock in
You scared her off? Yeah, okay. Well, you heard it, Locke.
in the world. And they were founded 5/1/1975. So let's do the math
All right, let me
together.
turn this around.
5 + 1 + 1 + 9 + 7 + 5 adds up to 28. What a coincidence! Absolutely shocking. And then you start looking at other events in history, and you start understanding that
we're just
they're
heading
doing
home.
things on purpose because of numerology and astrology. Let's go next. I want to know why some women weren't really attractive. I'm sure everyone's interested in that. And then I found out 5 is the number of the model, and people who are born on the 5th, 14th, 1 and 4 and 5, 23rd, 2 and 3 and 5 are extremely attractive. Don't believe me? Go to your Facebooks and put in those birthdays. You'll see a whole bunch of attractive people pop up. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why some people were really muscular, why some people were great athletes. And then I found out Michael Jordan, born 2/17/1963, adds up to an 11. And Kobe Bryant, 8/23, 1978, adds up to 38. 3 and 8 is 11. And then who did Kobe mentor? Kyrie Irving, who's born 3/23/1992, again, adds up to 11. So we have Michael Jordan, 11, who trains and mentors Kobe, who's an 11, who trains and mentors Kyrie Irving, who's an 11. At some point, people got to start looking at this stuff and be like, whoa, this stuff's real. Because the mathematical percentage of it, chances of it not being real.
But you could make the numbers, you could pull the numbers off of so much shit.
Like Elon, maybe they don't even buy it.
Why is this guy fucking...
That they feel like, well, it can't hurt. Or do you think that they're bought into it and that there's at least a superstition?
All right, screen now. Go.
They're extremely bought into it because there are about 3,200 billionaires on the planet. I've given readings, numerology readings to about 90 of them. They're very bought in, bro.
Okay.
I mean,
Why? What is appealing to them about it?
What? Excuse me?
What do you think is appealing to them about it? Like
because everyone wants an edge. Everyone wants an edge. And what better way to have an edge where most people are going to church, temple, mosques, and praying to magic men in the sky, where you can have the actual knowledge.
Do you think that numerology and religion are opposing?
Ooh, Melanie would be losing her shit with this guy.
Well, I mean, you can see that there's numerology and astrology that's coded within the Bible and the Quran itself, even the Talmud. When you look at Jesus, there's one Jesus and 12 apostles. When you look at astrology, there's one sun and 12 signs. You know, one judge and 12 jurors. The Federal Reserve System, one central hub in Washington, D.C., and 12 other banks all across America. So they follow the same systems. From the banking to the religion.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Systems. It's just that people don't notice it. And that's the big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and I was telling Luke, like, we'll try to maybe he's talking to somebody else right now. You know, it's interesting. Yeah. Oh, you're here. Okay. Luke, how did you guys end up getting meet up? Were you trying to find an edge? Were you trying to, how did you guys end up meeting up?
I don't remember exactly, but I remember, being in the area, hearing a lot about Gary. And I was like, I know that elites always play around with numerology, right? And I know that they always do a lot of kind of symbolic gestures on certain days. Like, there's wars started during certain moon cycles. There's a reason it was,
very dark out when Trump decided to strike Iran. And, there's also a lot of correlation with the summer solstice. There's also a lot of different kind of correlation with a lot of kind of occult rituals. So I was always interested in this type of occult stuff, and Gary seems to be very astute into studying this.
Well, speaking of that, we missed it.
For me, a lot of the elites, there's a reason they do a lot of their kind of rituals at the Bohemian Grove, and they do a lot of their kind of secret society type of stuff. So I always wanted to understand it a little bit further. And that's why I was like, Gary, let's come on the show. And then he was a part of our, I think you were too. You were part of our election show
we killed it.
Yeah, when Donald Trump won. I think you called in too, Jeremy, for a little bit.
I did,
there.
yeah.
Alex Jones called in.
Couldn't get the tech to work.
In studio. Yeah. So.
Landslide, just as we predicted.
What do you hold
on. Before we go any further, Donald Trump actually, forget Trump for a second. Israel attacked Iran on only Friday the 13th of the year. And the last time Iran attacked Israel was on April 13th, 2024. So they're all on the same side. They're all taking. If you guys are familiar with Star Wars, I think this is like a Count Dooku type of thing where they're all working for the same people, but they just don't know it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. What do you think? So a lot of again, I don't have an opinion. I find it all very interesting. What do you think of people who would call this kind of thing like satanic or demonic?
Oh, you got numbers all over your Bible. You got numbers all over your Quran. 33 is the number of influence. And why is Jesus Christ the most influential dead man in the world, if he even ever existed? It's because he's associated with dying at 33. And that's why, right there. I mean, listen, people don't want to believe this. That's fine. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm already a multi-millionaire. I don't give a damn what you people think, in all honesty, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one who got invited to the White House because I'm a numerologist. I'm the one who fucking goes on, used to run with the Warriors. And I made the biggest sports prediction of all time, too. When the Cleveland Cavaliers were down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors, the best team so-called in NBA history in 2016, I said they'd come back and win. And that, to this day, is the biggest upset in NBA history. So I have a lot of credibility. And if people don't want to believe me, that's fine. But, like, the elite use this. The people in positions of power use this.
Did you have to train for this? Or did you, use it like a skill you realized you had?
No. This isn't a skill. That would actually make it witchcraft. This is something that you actually have to train. I had to sit in my room for years and study this stuff. And the fact is, most of the information on this stuff is fake. Because most of the numerologists are broke. So I always do ask them, if you're so good at what you do, how come you're broke?
Yeah,
that's a valid question.
That was always a thing. Like, I remember, like, when there'd be, every time, like, an old girlfriend I had, very nice girl. She was into, going to get her future told and all this stuff. And I was like, man, every one of these women are fucking broke. Like, if they knew even anything, like, I'm not saying, like, people could say, oh, well, predicting the future isn't the same as knowing the winning lottery numbers. And I would agree with you. But, like,
we ain't broke, baby. We ain't broke over here.
What I'm saying is I always looked at that and I was like, why am I getting advice from someone who's not successful?
Yeah, 100%. It's like having a fat personal trainer. Doesn't make any sense. So 100%. So I'll give you one example. 28 is the number of wealth and 8 is the number of money. Wealth and money are two different things. And I remember I talked to this one person in 2003 it was. And I was like, Allison, if like 8's number of money, you agree? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how come you're selling your readings for $25? 2 and 5 is 7. Why is it 26? And then all of a sudden there was a pause for about 45 seconds. And then she came back. She's like, oh, I never thought about that. I'm like, oh my God, you've been at this for 40 years and you never actually thought about applying the information you teach. So I'm like, okay, they're all frauds. And we're done.
Or maybe think that she doesn't really believe in it. She's not
I always brought the fact that she was divorced 3 times. I'm like, that's kind of a red flag too. Why are you selling matchmaking advice if you're divorced 3 times as a numerologist? I mean, I've been married for 20 years because I based everything off numerology and astrology. I'm solid. You
could make it that she has some experience in picking the wrong guy. So
a lot of women have that one. A lot of women have that experience.
Why do you think Luke is so painfully single? What dating advice can we give to Luke in a numerology perspective to help set them up for success.
I can assure you that Luke is using numerology and astrology to find the girls now. I can 100% unequivocally promise you he's doing that. Luke's a tiger, man. Well, the tigers are going to do tiger things, man. Andrew Tate's the same age as him. He's not married.
Yeah, that's true. I did spend the weekend hanging out with Luke, and he was doing a lot of tiger-related activities that had me dropping him off at somebody's house, and then he'd just come back in a few hours. I don't know what was going on in there. I assume they were...
What are you talking about? They're playing patty cake.
I thought it was...
Singing Kumbaya. Stop.
Yeah,
What are you insinuating?
He was all sweaty. I thought maybe...
Jeremy. Good friends you have here, Luke.
I know, right?
What, so are you, I just bring this up because you're at, and by the way, this is all fascinating to me, so I appreciate you spending some time with us, and I'll get you out of here in a few minutes because I know you got stuff to do, but, are you using your powers for evil at that casino right now? Is that,
I'm using my powers to sports bet, pick the right team so I can win money.
Have you ever been kicked out of casinos?
Yeah, I'm kicked out of the Florida casino. That's why I'm here. Like they banned me from the Hard Rock in Miami. Luke knows us. I'm banned. I can't even make my own bets. They won't even honor it. If I hit a bet, they won't cash it. And they kicked my two runners out of there. And it's for nonsense. It's like what? 290,000 is a lot of money to you guys? Like, seriously? You're going to kick me over that? In Vegas, I fucking won millions before. They never fucking kicked me out. In Atlantic City, I took the resorts for $1.3 million in a month. They never kicked me out. But I have been kicked out of 4 casinos. And I want to make this clear. It's not like I don't lose. I can lose like 10, 20K a day and I'll go to sleep with a baby. I'm fine. But the whole point is, at the end of the year, I'm up 6-7 figures every single year since 2017.
What do you think of the only other guy I think that's been banned from casinos is that the guy that plays baccarat, but he says there's no skill in that, right? That's a different kind of game. That's not sports betting. That's like
I still have no idea how to
Some
play
people are lucky. Some people are lucky. Like you're a lucky dude in life. You're born on 12.
Yeah,
you had a lot of stuff go your way in life where other people would have broke them. So you're a lucky guy. Some people are not lucky. Some people have to work their asses off. Some people have to be intellectual. Some people have to be fucking athletes. Everyone doesn't go the same route, man. That's what I'm saying. When people give advice, sir, what is the best advice you can give to someone at my age? It's not the same. We're all different people. You can't. We all don't fit in the same shoe size. So at the end of the day, I don't believe in that one size fit all type of shit. Everyone has different objectives in life. Everyone has different things they're good at. And depending on your race, you'll have a higher IQ than most.
Oh, jeez. Hannah Claire's been talking about that kind of stuff.
Well, Jeremy tells me we're not allowed to talk about it, so it's hard to have a conversation.
She does a lot of noticing. I don't know.
I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed.
Well,
I'm not ashamed to say it. I think the 19th Amendment did more damage than COVID-19.
Ooh, notice they're both number 19. Yeah, coincidence.
Oh, now you're getting it, bro. Now you're getting it. And what does 19 mean in numerology? Bad health.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they did that on purpose, bro.
I want to let people know.
Manages fresh and fit.
Oh, right on. Okay. Yeah. How's that been? How have you found working with them? They seem to be pretty successful.
Yeah, they're extremely successful black men in America that prove that in America, no matter what your race, you become a millionaire. Very simple. That's why, I don't want to hear these Black Lives Matter people talk about, I need reparations, I need handouts. Myron and Fresh are both first-generation Americans, and they're already multi-millionaires. You can get that fucking bullshit out of here, man. That's the beauty of this country, man. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your race is, what your religion is. It doesn't matter. As long as you work hard, you have a chance to become rich in this country.
Oh, the jars? Yeah. I just don't like they put too much on them. And I always try and tell them I need them well done, and they never fucking have them well done. They're always kind of slimy, I like It's still moist on the inside, but well done. Almost crunchy on the outside.
America are millionaires, and these people want to talk about black fucking reparations or all this other crap. You guys are fucking morons. Go out there and work. As a matter of fact, to the women, close your legs a little bit more and maybe not have babies out of wedlock, and maybe things will start working out for you.
Well, yeah, you know, the guys play some part in that too. But I do want to let people know where they can find you on X. It's at Matrix Prime.
Flagger ahead. What the fuck's going on
here? Suspended any day now, so it's like that doesn't really matter. I've been suspended 24 times.
Road closed.
Because I told people not to.
Fuck! Oh, they tore it up. Holy crap!
I told people what Nick Fuentes was saying about 20 years ago, except I didn't lie to people. You know, things like that. But if you actually want to,
wow, they're repaving that road. I did not know that was coming. It looks like they're going to do it in a couple days.
White supremacy, but here's the problem. White people used to be 30% of the world population 100 years ago. Now they're 7%. So if you actually want to save the white race, why don't you have some fucking kids? Yeah. You know, it is what it is, man. If you want to find me, Matrix Prime on IG, GG33 Academy on YouTube. Those are my big accounts, or you can also find me on TikTok. I got like 1 million followers on there. I think it's GG33 Academy too.
All right, well, yeah, I put it up on the screen. I'll link it in the description below. Gary, I don't want to hold you up. Who do you got?
Appreciated.
Who do you got tonight? I got. Who do you got tonight? Brewers. It's too late. The game started.
I'll do it. Hold on, let me find my parlay here.
I think the game already started, so it might not be any good.
It might not be any good. Hold on, I'll give you one parlay ticket. So here's one of my parlays right here. Got
we'll see if it plays
200 to hit 12K. I got the Pittsburgh Pirates money line, Anaheim Angels money line, and Texas Rangers money line.
All right, we'll see how that hits tomorrow. Gary, thanks so much for coming on, dude. Very interesting stuff.
I try not to disappoint Luke, man.
Yeah, well, you know.
It is what it is, man. Anyways, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Gary. Good luck today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, their sauce is decent.
Okay, well, that was Gary.
I guess they're closing down a bunch of them, huh? From what I've heard.
Interesting stuff. You know, I don't, because I don't have like a hard line.
I mean, Hooters is who got me hooked on fucking wings. Before Buffalo Wild Wings, any of those places, Hooters is the one who hooked me up. They got me that taste.
I don't know how convinced
I keep coming back.
Real thing, but I also don't think it matters. Like, if it's real or it's not real, it doesn't hurt you. You can say it's food, but it doesn't matter, you know?
Believe in it, if it gives you a sense of self and it changes the way you live your lives, like that's really what a lot of things are
Rent
about.
me. Ooh, new roof going in.
It's not my religious beliefs, but on the same time, like, I can understand why a lot of people are looking for an insight into who they are and what they're supposed to do with their lives. I think a lot of people desire more guidance in life.
And, you know, maybe next time I'm playing roulette, I'll throw a few bucks on 28. What difference does it make? I don't know what the other number I would pick. So why would I just pick that number? It's the money number, right? So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out during that. And then we got I've got all the news stories today as well.
What the fuck, man? Everything's closed. Well, this road is closed. Okay, I'm not worried about this.
Sponsor, that is Venice.ai. Sam Altman recently announced that ChatGPT can now reference all your past conversations. I don't know how you feel comfortable with that.
3.8 miles ahead. Oh, okay. I ain't worried about that.
What are they doing with it? Sam Altman said ChatGPT will get to know your life. They also the former director of the NSA.
Dude, honestly, unless you go into one of the big ones, like Clearwater, Florida, or something like that, most of them don't really. The women there are not all that great looking.
It took us all far too long to truly understand what social media
now,
is doing with their data over the last decade.
If you want to look at some nice booties, like Twin Peaks. Have you ever been to a Twin Peaks?
I'm not sure if we're comfortable with that. Open source, however, models.
She doesn't have any kids.
Utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text code and image generation.
Melody doesn't have any kids. Hannah had just had a kid.
No installations, no nothing. So let's see. Like I just put, is Luke Rodowski a conspiracy theorist?
She is, man. You better give her a call. She's single, I think, still.
let's see.
But she doesn't
Say
really
conspiracy
talk
theories.
about it much online. She
Luke
talks about
Rudkowski is
the
indeed a
religious.
conspiracy theorist. He is known for his belief in various conspiracy theories, including the existence of a controlling system in the New World Order. Rudkowski is the founder of We Are Change, an independent media organization. I mean, that's, I don't think that's a, you know, I'll say, is ordering. I'm sure there's all sorts of more stuff you can do, obviously, with AI.
I'm sure you will.
But the Venice Pro Plan, their Pro Plan unlocks the full platform and features including PDF uploads for summaries or insights, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation. I know who loves that. Oh yeah, the Gordon, whose real name is Jeremy Hamlin, is also recognized for criticism that we are safe. Now, it doesn't say if I'm answering it. It does know who I am. So you can turn off safe mode, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. Let's see if I can do an image.
If you're angry enough for it.
Give me an image of
I feel like I would break her. She's so tiny.
Let's see if that. You don't have many hands. Yeah, I know. That's what I wondered. Like, tiny. Yeah, they're very close to the same thing. Let's see if I go here, here. Very top heavy. Oh, I'm turn off safe mode. All right, I'm going. How do I turn off? I think you have to sign up for that.
Love this background. It's very zen.
Yeah, I like it actually. Let's see. Imagine. Let's see more. Let's see if I can take the image. Generate. I don't know a lot about AI. Generate an image of Alex Jones fighting the T-Rex. Let's see here. I may not be able to do images. I use an image generation tool. Okay, well, there's all sorts of stuff. Where's that? How do I do that? Let's see here.
No, who's Hannah? That's the blonde.
Imagine, is that it? No.
She's been gone for a while because she had a kid. She took some time off.
I have to learn.
And a Claire B.
There's various models, so you can. Let's see. Imagine.
All right.
Let's try that. Imagine.
Yeah, that might be difficult to make that happen with Blair.
It says, I can't generate images directly like it's
I will.
Alex Jones
Let her know you gave your love.
Prehistoric landscape.
We'll see how these my dog's doing. All right. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Most of you. Dio.
Alex Jones shouting
Peace.
back